Hey yo, I just want to say shout out to my red bike. It got stolen about a year ago, and I think about you every day. But you know, now I got a blue bike, and it's not the same, but it's a new life, a new journey. So rest in pedals, red bike, I love you. I like to bask in the tropics with a flask in my pocket. If you act no problem, I'll start laughing and mocking like a charismatic parrot that is a comic. Now I'm feeling like the shit, cause I'm rapping with phonics.
Alrighty. How's it going, people? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. And let's see here. Let me do some quick adjustments here and whatnot. Anywho, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the newsroom and welcome to the Goutopia News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. This is the Snort Report, brought to you by SnortBucks Coffee Company, the best beverage company ever. Don't let nobody tell you different. Here we go. So, the time I'm recording this, Goutmas is about to launch, I think. What was supposed to be 12 days ended up turning into 25. So that's a thing. But it'll give me a pretty good way of measuring it when the rest of my people show back up at the beginning of the year. And after I get back from hiatus, we can exchange notes, we can figure out what's what, and hopefully have that streamlined for next year, depending on how this year goes. In any case, while that's going on, I still got all of this 2025 stuff to do, and I have even more to do in 2026, which is actually pretty nice because it'll give me a buffer. So there's that. It'll give me a buffer because I feel like the year is going to start off slow. So we have that to look forward to. With that being said, none of this is going to make it into 2025. I want to tell you, unfortunately, but you know, it is what it is. I think I'm uploading like 3 to 4 videos a week. I think that's a lot, to be honest with you, especially as long-winded as I am. So that's a thing in itself. So I think, you know, just having this come up next year, that gives me more leverage. It kind of works out and, you know, it'll save the day. In any case, though, just to give you guys a bit of a PSA, if you will. Now, let's go ahead and talk about where we're at right now with this. So with that being said, let's go into my favorite segment. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully your favorite segment as well. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my TED Talk. So, we will be talking about, let's see here, DSP is going to be speaking on FIGHTCADE, retro gaming, and Marvel TOKON, which is like the new fighting game that's coming out from Capcom. And Capcom Japan, actually, I think, to be honest with you, because it's really going to take on a Japanese style. And I can't remember because it was a while ago. This was back in September. So I don't know what kind of bitch fest he had. If I remember correctly, he complained about, and don't hold me to this, but he complained something along the lines that he was waiting to get the email notification to let him know that he made it into the closed beta, and they sent it to him a day or two late, which doesn't make any sense, because if you were following Twitter as much as I do, I guess I'll use myself as the example, they announced that emails came out something like, I want to tell you 72 hours at the latest, 72 hours before the closed beta actually started. So there was that. And then there were some people who got their notifications up to a week before it came out. So the reality is he didn't want to jump into the beta because he didn't want that smoke. You know what I'm saying? And it gives him something to complain about. And if that's something that I've noticed a lot of in 2025, and actually some of the older stuff too, but especially in 2025, he goes out of his way to set up situations just so he can complain. Just to feel like he's being excluded and it's unfair. Semantics. But in any case, that's what I think it was. But we'll hear his excuse because, like I said, I might have misremembered it. The show was back in September. Early September, actually. And we'll see what's what. I personally didn't get to play any of the betas on that. It's not coming out. Well, it's not being played at EVO. I'm pretty confident it's not going to be played at EVO because there's so much going on right now, especially right around Grand Theft Auto, that Capcom really can't be risking it. So, I mean, having it go at EVO just seems like a bad idea. So anyway, that's just my opinion. I don't know if that's actually the case or not, but I wouldn't think it'll be at EVO this year. And with the, you know, like Avatar is going to be out there. a bunch of other, you know, fun little games or whatever. Capcom really needs to make sure that Marvel TOKON is a fucking hit. This shit needs to be a hit out the gate, especially with Street Fighter 6 currently starting to be on the slowdown, you know, waiting for new characters, waiting for more content, so on and so forth. They need to make this shit needs to rock. For real, for real. And then I just don't think DSP is gonna do well in that game anyway, to be honest with you. I'm just hoping it doesn't play like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. As long as it don't play like that, then it's whatever. I think you can have up to 4 characters. I watched a lot of Max's coverage over it. I think you can have up to 4 characters, but only one main character. I don't know if that means you can actually switch amongst the other ones, or they're just people you can call in as an assist, like Marvel vs. Capcom 1 type situation. We'll see. Speaking of which, speaking of Marvel vs. Capcom 1, I've actually we're gonna go into something in 2026 that pertains to Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and an interesting discrepancy that happened back in 2012, early 2012, with DSP and another well-known name and some material that's missing. So that's all I'm gonna say for now, but I think it's gonna be an interesting story. And I've been thinking about it for a minute, so it's something that I've been wanting to look into. So I think I'm gonna try to give you guys the whole story for the most part. We'll see what's what can be found, I should say. So anyway, something to look out for in 2026. In any case, thank you guys for coming to my TED Talk. And let's go ahead and move along positively with our content. So let's see here. Let's go over here. You know what I'm saying? Something dark. You know what I'm saying? That works out. That works out. And let's see if we can find our video in question. Here it is right here, actually. All right, so there's that.
Ball.
Okay. And only if we knew what was to come later. Holy shit. That's silly. Anywho. Let's see here. I think all of our ducks are in a row, so to speak. Actually, let me hit that there. All right. I think all of our ducks are in a row. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and give you guys the official title, and then let's move along with this. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with Raw Phil. Big ups. And I want to say Diggs cut this. It could have been Asian GTG. Big ups to both of them. Let's just say one of the two did. One of the two ended up cutting it, so big ups to whoever it was that cut it. So, DARKSYDEPHIL speaks on FIGHTCADE, retro fighting games, and Marvel TOKON closed beta rant. This is from September 7th of 2025. Womp 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 womp. And without further ado, I don't smell no bacon cooking. So let's go ahead and get to that. And here we go.
Well, I hope that you all are having a good time this weekend. I know that for many people, this is NFL weekend. I guess the NFL began today in the United States. That's the National Football League, our football, not worldwide football, but our domestic football.
It's weird that he does that. It's like foreigners or people in other countries don't understand what the NFL is or the NBA is or the MLB or, you know what I'm saying, or American soccer or whatever. Like you know what I'm saying, or soccer instead of saying European football. It's like he really talked to people like they're stupid, and one could make the argument, oh, he's just trying to educate them. No, he's just talking down to them. That's what he's that's what he's doing. He's just talking down to them. And the last thing you need is someone insulting your intelligence for no damn reason. Womp womp. I guess if you're a dent, you're kind of used to it.
And everyone's going crazy talking about, oh, I'm eating wings and drinking beer and watching the games. Yesterday was my wife's birthday. I spent the entire day with her. We were out and about doing a million different things. We went to one of her favorite restaurants and got a nice, delicious dinner. Had some wine together at the end of the night. So it was a nice day for me. For other people, it was TOKON Day. Huh? Well, if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a new fighting game coming out next year, and it's from ArcSys, the people who had made Dragon Ball FighterZ, Guilty Gear, and BlazBlue. It had a beta yesterday.
Now think about it. I kind of was thinking there for a while that they were just going to give us a Dragon Ball FighterZ 2. But, you know, it looks like they're just going to keep adding characters to it. They're just going to do it at a very slow pace. It feels like they're trying to do it around new Dragon Ball releases or whatever. But either which way, that game needs more content. That game needs more content or it needs a sequel. They can't just keep going to like Sparks or whatever other Dragon Ball game they have out there and then jumping to Fighters. Like Fighters needs way more life to be breathed or breathed or they need to put more life into the game and shit before that shit just fades the fuck out. Just saying. But in Japan though, they getting it in, so it is what it is.
Day only. It was a closed beta only for 36 hours. It started 9 p.m. on Friday night and ended this morning at 8 a.m. Okay?
Like I said, I'm pretty sure notifications went out like that Tuesday or Wednesday. And some people knew as early as Monday. So he doesn't have an excuse. You can find tweets about it on Twitter where people talk about it. So he doesn't have an excuse. I honestly think he did it on purpose.
Well, should I talk about this now? Why not? I was in it because I registered for it like weeks ago. They had announced, oh, registrations for this beta. So I'd signed up for it. But when I did, you had to do it through this weird link. Usually, if you want to sign up for a beta, you would go to like a website and fill out a web form saying, you know, your name, your preferred platform, if you have like a YouTube channel, all that stuff. This had none of that. This was click here, log into your PlayStation Network account, which of course I have a long-standing PSN account, put in your details, and that's it. I didn't get an email saying confirm that you're registered for it. We'll let you know. Nothing. It just, so I had no idea that the beta was even going to happen or that I was going to get into it. I was streaming on Friday night, my Friday Night Fight stream. They emailed me to tell me that I was in the TOKON beta while it was already live. That sounds like good timing, doesn't it?
Next to doubt, it probably was in a spam folder or something. Because it was clear that he was monitoring Twitter/X and seeing what other people were saying in real time.
Like tell someone in the midst of a very limited timed beta that you're in the beta. Why not tell me like 3 days early so I can plan for it?
And that's how I know he knew that those emails went out because, yet again, people on Twitter were talking about that shit. People were all over that shit on confirming their admission into the closed beta. Some people were having problems with the site. Other people were coming through and helping. The FGC came through for each other, to be honest, during that period of time. And there's no way he didn't see that, being that he stalks and still does. He stalks most of the well-known people in that community. And if I had to guess, he's probably badgered a fair amount of them for interviews or whatever, or at least to talk to them in some type of way.
No, tell me while the beta's going on. It wouldn't have mattered anyway because I was going to spend time with my wife for her birthday. I don't give a crap about the Marvel TOKON beta. My wife's way more important to me than this random-ass fighting game.
Well, then I guess you need to be shutting the fuck up. I guess you should be shutting the fuck up then. Is that the case? So what are we complaining about then? Like I said, he can bitch and complain about the email thing, but I know he's lying because he literally said 3 days in particular. So I know he's lying on that part. If he was going to spend the time with his horse, his wife mom. If he wanted to spend more time with her and shit, and he was going to skip out on the closed beta, then so be it. Go ahead and do that shit and move the fuck on. What are you complaining about?
But a 36-hour limited window for a closed beta is probably the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard, and that's the dumbest fucking beta that's ever been held. I have never in my life heard of a beta that you have to give up an entire day of your life, no matter what, no chance to get into it later. Fuck you, play it or just skip it and miss out.
Did he forget that this shit's free and he's not entitled to shit? And if I had to guess, and I'm not saying that's the thing, it is a closed beta. He could have easily have been turned away. For all we know, that's what happened. Great screenshot, by the way. And he must be reminiscing about his times with PPP and preparing himself for low tier God. Anyway, he could have easily have been closed away. He may have not. Shit, to be honest with you, he may have not even gotten in. He's just lying. Because that's what he do. So, you know what I'm saying? DSP wants to be included. He wants to be inclusive. Well, he wants to be inclusive in other people's shit. You don't want to have anybody be inclusive in his shit. Anyway, unless he can profit off it. So for all we know, he just didn't make it in, to be honest. And then it's plausible that maybe someone ended up dropping out, or they revealed extra spaces, or they put out there that there was extra spaces, and then that's when he got the email for that. Like I said, you could go a bunch of different ways with that shit.
Huh? So I can't have a life? I can't, actually have, like, responsibility?
This is starting to sound like that Keemstar bullshit all over again with that 50 fucking grand. We all saw how that played out.
Or
now keep in mind, this is his job. This is his business. This is how he puts food on the table. How fucking, you know, they keep the upkeep on the fucking barn and all the hay and all that bullshit. I mean, you know what I'm saying, having a fucking a purebred filly is expensive, I would assume. So you know what I'm saying, like, this is your job. At the end of the day, if you're supposed to be, you know, if you want to cover FGC content because you supposedly have a piece of the market, then you make time for it like everybody else. If not, then shut the fuck up and wait till the next beta is available. End of story.
a schedule. You're just supposed to, you're going to send me an email during the beta, so I couldn't even prepare for it. And you expect me to now just change everything in my life for your fighting game. How about this?
First off, they didn't lose anything by you being there. They didn't gain anything either. Truth be told, I find that I feel like a lot of these game companies are actually at a deficit by having DARKSYDEPHIL play this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not doing the gaming community any favors. He's just small enough and insignificant enough that no one really cares. But he's also damaging enough that they wouldn't put any spotlight on him anyway. You know what I'm saying? He's an absolute hindrance to himself and everybody else around him. So there's a reason why no one needs to accommodate him. And yet again, he either didn't get in, or if he did, he got in at the last minute, or he completely skipped it because he wanted to bitch and complain about it later. End of story. And he's probably going to get bodied when that game comes out anyway, so that doesn't even matter.
No, I'm not going to do that. My life is more important to me than your fighting game.
No one asked you to. He really makes it seem like he's in some type of demand. No one cares. You know what I'm saying? Only assholes like me. But other than that, no one cares.
If you actually want me to care, you should actually tell me ahead of time. You should actually allow me to plan. You should actually respect my time as a gamer and not try to act like you're more important than me, because you're not.
It's a closed beta. No one gives a fuck. You don't have any real feedback. Wow, what a fucking punchable face. Anyway, you're a fucking content creator. You're a dime a dozen. You're a dime a dozen. Like, they don't need you. Dude, there were people who were getting quote unquote catered to in other fighting games or whatever that have far smaller channels than DSP does. They have way more reach because they're not hated, but they have far smaller channels, bro, and you can get in. We're in a day and age, and I had said this some years ago, and I'm actually kind of glad that I'm actually right about this, but we're getting into a day and age where it's not so much the size of the channel, but what kind of reach you can have and how long you can hold people for. And that's enough for companies to reach out to you. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you have at least a decent reputation. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anybody who has, like, not to channel shame or nothing, but like someone who has like 500 subs is going to get like free swag and all that bullshit. But, you know, having 1,500, $2,000 or 2,000 and up, you know what I'm saying? Whereas back in the day, it used to be, you know, 20,000 or 50,000, 100,000. The level of entry has kind of dropped. And if you decide to choose games and choose a particular game genre, I should say, it doesn't even have to be a particular game series, but a game genre. And if you can hold people's attention, then that shit can happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Asian GTG gets dropped shit all the fucking time. He's just kind of lazy. You don't play all of them. But he gets offers to play shit all the time. You know what I'm saying? Amongst other people we know. So it doesn't matter. Like, it legitimately doesn't matter. And that, as it pertains to the FGC in particular, dude, there are so many people in there that you can give, you could send shit to. You don't need DSP. And they actually have names. They actually have value. DSP is a nobody. He's a literal nobody. You know what I mean? And that's the beautiful thing about, that's the beautiful thing about cutting down his FGC fucking lore or whatever, because at the end of the day, he's nothing. He never was. In his head, he has this grandized idea of what he was and what he was bringing to the fucking community, and his redemption story of, oh, I talked a lot of shit, and then I started really grinding, and then I almost won Evo or whatever the fuck, and he won a bunch of qualifiers, which isn't even true, but whatever. He won a bunch of qualifiers, and then he decided to transition over to being a tournament organizer, and he redeemed himself, and people thought he was, you know, he really could be a respectable member and all that bullshit, because that's exactly what that is. Straight up grade A pig shit. He's not he doesn't bring any value to the table. It is what it is. But let him have it, because that's all he can have. All he can do is grasp at the idea. The reality is probably far more scarier for him anyway.
Sorry, Marvel TOKON. Anyway, so I had a great day, and the entire fighting game community dropped everything to play it. I'm serious. They did. Like, oh
no, a community based around a particular genre of game goes ahead and participates in said game that's in their wheelhouse. Imagine that. Imagine that. That's like saying, hey, guys who stream and make Call of Duty content end up getting invited into a fucking beta, and they decide to play the beta because that's what they do. What a novel concept. Imagine that.
well, because this is all we do. You know, all our eggs are in one basket. So we've got to drop our lives and change all our schedules around because we got into this beta. So they did. And they played it in the 36 hours. And I saw quite a few people play it, including
That's strange. I thought you were spending time with your wife and you had such a great time with her. So when did you have time to do that? So let's go ahead and dig into this a little deeper. So he values his time with his wife. He was told at the very last minute, allegedly, and whatnot, he wasn't going to change his plans because he wasn't given enough time to change his plans, on top of the fact that he wanted to spend time with his wife, allegedly. But he had enough time to sit there and watch all these different people on Twitter, which means he probably watched some of these people on YouTube and on Twitch, if I had to guess. He watched them play. He had time to watch them play, but he didn't have time to go upstairs and waddle onto his own little set and fucking fire up a stream so he could play for an hour or two. But he had time to watch other people do it, though. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I believe that. Sure.
that guy Diaphone, the guy who had actually made a video regarding my Street Fighter 6 play early on during the run of Street Fighter 6 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, that dude that he tried to kneecap. I'm not sure if I ever did that video. I'll put it on the list if I haven't. But I know I talked about it, but I don't know if I actually went over that video. But yeah, Diaphone, he tried to kneecap Diaphone. He tried to kneecap the shit out of that guy. What I mean is, DSP had commented under the video, because of course he did, and that shit had easily between 150 and like 200 responses or whatever. And instead of DSP just being grateful to Diaphone like he said he was, and just let that shit fly, he ended up being a sensitive bitch, because that's what he is, a sensitive bitch, and ended up deleting it, thinking that he was going to punish Diaphone for not actually moderating his own comment section. So he thought he could delete all those comments under his comment, and that was attached to DSP's comment, I should say. DSP thought if he deleted his comments, that would hinder the video, and it didn't. Like, it doesn't work like that anymore. But he did knock off something like almost 200 fucking comments off the fucking census, which is bullshit. Diaphone didn't do shit to you. He's not there to babysit you. He's not your fucking shield and shit. It is what it is. You should have just been a man and take the hits over there. You know what I'm saying? But whatever. In our current day and age, he over there fucking getting clowned on fucking under Lumix's videos and under I want to tell you, homeboy LG, I think his name is. LG over there in the fucking low tier God community. He's getting clowned under both of those videos. He ain't fucking deleting shit over there. But he had to get rid of that Diaphone shit. Because it's funny to me that someone who allegedly doesn't give a shit about the FGC apparently gives a whole lot of shits about the FGC. Fascinating, it really is.
He actually won a tournament in Tampa, Florida, which is kind of cool. He won basically the first tournament for the game. Throwbacks to back when new releases.
Oh, I wonder, have you been trying to reach out to Diaphone for an interview? Are you stalking him too? Because I'm confident that Diaphone, Vasper Arcades, definitely James Chen, definitely Arturo, obviously LTG. See, he wouldn't be brave enough to reach out to Valle. So that's a no. He's definitely not speaking to Mike Watson or Mike Watson or Jaha. I mean, there's a few guys in the community that he could probably try to reach out to. Max and Justin, Maximilian Dude and Justin. He's definitely tried to reach out to them. And he's probably reached out to a few people around them. But he's not getting anywhere fast with that. He's just not worth talking to.
This would come out. Like, remember when Super Street Fighter 4 came out and I entered a midnight tournament for it at a game store and I won with DJ? It's kind of cool to see people, day one be hype.
It's weird how he has a real problem. And, fuck it, he hates black people, but he's really obsessed with black people. a real strange thing, man. Gotta tell you, very, very weird.
I saw Justin Wong play. I saw Nerd Josh play. I saw Sonic Fox play. Okay.
So you saw all these people play, but weren't you supposed to be spending time with your wife, though? Isn't that what he told us? So he had a chance to jump online and play, but he chose not to. He wanted to watch other men do it. I mean, that's fine if that's what he's into.
So, just watching a few different videos, here's my impressions, okay?
A few different videos. You just admitted to watching Dialaphone win the Tampa tournament. So I'm assuming that he at least watched top 8. Whatever. I'm just going off what he said. I'm just going off what he said.
It's definitely the kind of game that's going to get hype. It's big, flashy combos, big explosions, giant damage, okay? It's what people like to watch.
He's not gonna be able to play that shit at a high level. I know he's not. He's not gonna be able to keep pace with it. I'm almost confident. Like, he talks a lot of shit about MVC1 and how he was such a great player at it. He won tournaments or whatever, which is, I haven't found too much evidence of that yet. But the best that I could find was he may have been top 5 in Marvel vs. Capcom Origins, and that's back in 2012. I won't say anything else because then that's going to reveal my plot. But outside of that, that game is so much slower, though, with all due respect. Marvel vs. Capcom 1 is so much slower than MVC2. And obviously, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Speaking of which, if you get a chance to play or download the mod for Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 that has all those characters that they added to it and shit, you should. It's a fun play. It's a fun play. I played some of that with some of my peoples. I need to download it myself, but that's a good time. I don't think there's a way of modding it to your actual console, unfortunately. But if you own the game on PC, it's a fun look. It's definitely the modding team that's doing it. They're all independent guys who just love the game. They're doing really, really well. You can go to Maximilian Dude's showcase on his channel and you get to see all that shit. It's really cool.
I'm just going to emphasize that. It's what people like to watch. But this really harkens back to me to the days of Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and or even Dragon Ball FighterZ, where it seems like if you can get one hit in, you can capitalize and get an insane combo. I actually saw someone with Ms. Marvel get like an 80% combo that was like dash up 3 attacks into a assist that created almost like a wall bounce state. Then she did another 3 attacks into a super. It was 80% damage. What the fuck? It's supposed to be a fighting game. Why are you losing 80% of your character to one simple combo? It wasn't even like, a counter hit combo. No, it was a simple combo. Like, assist, super.
If you really think that's easy, if he really thinks that's easy, then what's the problem? If he allegedly, in his gin brain mind, he has already figured out, then what's the problem? Just don't make any mistakes. You're going to have to just work on your setups. But DSP don't have that type of execution. He doesn't have that type of timing. And yet again, he's kind of giving you the reason, great screenshot, by the way. He's actually giving you a reason why he didn't play the fucking beta. And I didn't think he was going to anyway. I didn't think he was going to play the closed beta. He was going to watch everybody else play and then bitch and complain and whatnot, just like how he did with that most recent Fatal is it King of Fighters or Fatal Fury? I think it's Fatal Fury. I think. But that most recent Fatal Fury that came out, he had sat there and bitched about how people who got to play it early were able to do all these insane combos, and he said he wasn't interested in playing it. He may have, but I didn't watch it, so I didn't care. But you know what I'm saying? He was gonna just wait and see what other people thought of it first, and then he was gonna jump on that train when the next beta came around. It makes a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? And that DSP is so out of touch anyway, and his reactions and reflexes are shit. He just doesn't have the mindset for fighting games anymore. I don't think he really ever did, except for, Super Turbo, because it's slow. It's grindy. They don't make games like that too much anymore.
80% damage. In addition, some of the stuff that I've seen, the game looks a little bit more slow.
Remember, he was supposed to be spending time with his wife, by the way.
Than I would have expected. Like, recently we had the Marvel vs. Capcom collection. And so everyone was playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2. The game looks slower than MVC 2. The game kind of looks like it's meant for online play, meaning they built it for rollback netcode. So what does that mean? It means there's going to be pattern play.
Oh boy, there's pattern play in every fighting game though. Like that's the reason why pattern players and flowcharting and whatnot, and flowchart players is a term that's actively used, just like scrubs. And truth be told, pattern play and pattern play. I don't know. I want to say that pattern play and flowcharters kind of stem up from scrubs, from the term scrub, right? I want to say that's what the case is, but I can't really do. I shouldn't do that. I should say, because that's not fair. That's not fair. Because in fighting games, you're conditioning somebody, just like in chess, for example. I mean, shit, just like in checkers. In any game that requires some back and forth or whatnot to develop a rhythm of what the other person's thinking and their patterns, and then you kind of just adjust your patterns or your tactics or your strategy based upon them. DSP would never get that because he's not a deep thinker. But that's kind of what that comes down to. But to say that both of those terms, pattern players and flowchart players, actually spawned from scrubs or branched out from scrubs, I don't know if I should do that. I don't know if that's a fair assessment to make. I'll think on that. Expect me, though, to definitely go over FGC drama going into 2026 because there's so much bullshit. Holy fuck, there's so much bullshit to comment on. It should be fun.
It means there's going to be simpleton gameplay, easy input, everything easy to execute, nothing tough to do. It just looks like it's a baby's own game.
Isn't this the same fucking retard that sat there and literally broke one arcade stick to try to mod another one and then ended up fucking that one up and then just went ahead and bought another one after that? Just saying. If everything is easy mode, simpleton type bullshit, then why can't he get anything done in any fighting game? The best that he's done in any fighting game this year was Street Fighter 6. And even then, getting up to master is literally entry level at this point. It was entry level back in August, to be fair. And that's exactly where he's at. He's been overlapped by so many people, you know, and detractors included. He's been overlapped by so many other people that he doesn't even make the bare minimum. He doesn't even meet the bare minimum just for the entry anymore for Street Fighter 6. But he wants to call shit simpleton like bullshit. He doesn't even have the full potential of Blanca down. He never really got into the full potential of Bison. And then his Mai, she's gotten even more sillier, but he wouldn't be able to execute some of the shit that they do in Mai. He's not going to be able to follow up. He's not going to be able to hit confirm. He's not going to be able to capitalize. So, but you're going to call everything simpleton shit, even though it's shit that he can't do. Makes you think.
Sorry.
And the reason why that is because DSP doesn't learn anything. He emulates shit, but he doesn't understand why it's being done the way it is, and that's why he loses the way he does. And he'll never figure it out.
It looks like it's made for play schoolers. Now, it looks hype, meaning...
This is coming from the same bitch who literally plays children's games and rage quits them, right? Not even rage quits at times. He rage quits literal children's games. Imagine that.
There's going to be big flashy combos. People are going to want to see the superheroes beat the crap out of each other. But it doesn't, to me, look like a competitive fighting game that's going to be like something from you know, the yesteryear where there was...
It's not made from yesteryear. So why the fuck is that a thing? You're supposed to grow as time goes on, Phil. Whatever. Stay stagnant. You're good for that.
There's actually challenge and skill involved. It's just going to be...
And that's why he was so desperate. Great screenshot. That's why he was so desperate to win Super Turbo in the years that he tried to compete in them. That's the reason why. Because the game was dying out. But according to people like, really according to DSP, you know, oh, it's the foundation. It's what gave birth to all these other fighting games or whatever. And that's why he was going for it. Because if he could win, he didn't. But if he could win, but he didn't. But if he could win, it would cement him in what he would believe is Street Fighter history. So there you go. Like I said, I'll delve into that more as we get there. But it really explains why he held on to that notion. I was 4th place in Super Turbo in such and such year. Most people, I don't think anybody's going to celebrate 4th. But if you're going to squawk about that shit, I can see you doing it for a couple months and letting it go. This ass clown did it for over a decade. I mean, he still does it. He still does it. We're going on. Actually, it's not even over it's been 2 decades. If you think about it, that was That was 2005. We're in 2025, and he still harps about that shit. 2 decades that he ain't sat there and cemented himself on fourth. On fourth. And then couldn't exceed that placement or match it in the 2 years following before he got pushed out. Damn.
Online pattern play again. That's what it looks like to me. Now, again, this is one.
And funny enough, I would have thought, I think most people would have thought, that online play was a boom. It was a boom, or it is a boom, I should say. And it should have helped people in general, not just people like DSP. It should have helped anybody and everybody, because it really opened up the world to people. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can play Daigo. Anybody can play anybody from Japan or Korea or China or from in England or from, you know what I'm saying, Puerto Rico or anywhere in South America or Canada or wherever, right? And yet, and this is just my own personal opinion, but, and I may be a bit biased, but I feel like online play was wasted on him. If anything, I'll go even further than that. I think online play has made DSP worse, because his inability to learn, to adapt, and overcome, and the crutch of, oh, I came up in the arcade era, has given him a solid and cemented reason to make excuses for why he's so bad in online play. And that's why he doesn't feel the need to learn anything. Why he always basically falls back on his fundamentals from a game that's, what, almost 30 years old at this point? That's wild. He figured out a way to stifle and stagnate himself. Like, take that in.
One day of people playing it, they already figured out 80% damage combos, ridiculous strings. Like, basically what it looks like to me is Dragon Ball Fighters with a skin and with some different mechanics when it comes to the assists. Okay? Because there's the stage transitions. And a lot of people are very critical of these stage transitions, saying they don't really like them. And that they're basically kind of jarring to the game. Some people are saying the animations are too long, like super animations take forever. And again, it seems like that's because for a crowd.
Remember, it's a beta. They can tighten that stuff up later.
You want the crowd to react when something like that. Again, it seems like this is a crowd pleaser game. This is a game that may have been made, that it's a stream hype game, that when you're streaming it or you're playing it in a tournament, everyone's excited. But when you actually play it, it's just not that good. Again, I harken back to MVC3, where at first I was hyped for it, and then within that first year of playing it, I just hated it.
He couldn't compete, and he damn sure was getting bodied in Ultimate Marvel's Capcom 3. Holy shit. He was getting destroyed. He was getting destroyed in Ultimate Marvel's Capcom 3. Holy fuck.
Like, dude, I don't want a game where every time I get hit, I lose an entire character. Or I have to...
Then don't play that type of fighting game. No one needs you to be doing that shit. No one cares. I mean, truth be told, no one really cares. So, you know what I'm saying? Go to whatever little slow-paced game that you're able to figure out enough that you think you could scrape some wins off fucking scrubs, which doesn't mean anything, and just play that.
X Factor, and now I kill your entire character. I thought that was awful for competitive play. So, it's rough.
It wasn't, even though the majority of his contemporaries ended up winning EVO off of that game. You know what I'm saying? Like, Fnatic got close. He got really close. He won a lot of money matches. Actually, you know what? I gotta look. I don't think Fnatic's ever won an EVO. Not for Marvel's Capcom 3. Viscant did, though. Justin did. I don't know if Fnatic did, actually. Here, give me a sec. Let me actually look that up. Okay, and we're back. Okay, so, winners of Marvel vs. Capcom or Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Ultimate over at EVO. So you have Justin Wong, obviously. Viscant, F-Champ, Flocker, KBR, Chris G, Ryan LV, and then Jabril and RF. Well, Jabril and RF are, sorry, those are rising stars, if you will. Let's see here. Justin Wong. It was like Justin Wong took the EVO title in 2014. Doesn't say when Viscant won. No, I think about Kane Blue River won one year and whatnot. He took a lot of shit after that because Filipino Champ was on his neck about how he wouldn't do money matches or do anything to kind of fuck up his reputation. I'll get into that. That's kind of the reason why I want to get into FGC drama, because there's a lot of old shit out there that's really, really fascinating. Anyway, those are the majority of your winners. To be honest, yeah, but Viscant didn't win, but he came close though. But he won crazy money though. He won crazy money the years that he was competing though, and whatnot. And he was sponsored too, so he was literally just going to tournaments just to fucking harvest people for money matches. Oh, the FGC was a fun time.
It's rough for me. I mean, if I was a modern FGC player and all I knew were modern fighting games like Marvel and Dragon Ball and Street Fighter 5 and 6, I'd probably be like, oh, I'm so hyped. But I've played better games. I just played Marvel 2 in the Marvel 2 collection. That to me,
beating up on scrubs. Because when he ran into real killers or people who knew what they were doing, he got whacked. He got mollywopped.
looks like a better game. But these are not the opinions you will hear from the fighting game community. I just want to make this abundantly clear. There are people out there who agree with me on stuff like this, but you'll never hear people in the fighting game community talk about it. Why?
Because they're not as close-minded and fucking retarded as you. That's the thing. And then he just shitted on them because, oh, they can only play, or they can only produce fighting game content. But then he's going to sit there and say, oh, well, people agree with me that some of these games are bad. Or they're not as good as the old stuff, but they won't say anything because they got to protect their fucking rice bowl. Well, yeah, according to you, anyway, you just established that. It's like he forgot his own narrative like halfway through.
Well, let's see. I got into the Marvel TOKON beta and I streamed it and I had record high viewer numbers. Everyone was supporting my stream and I made a whole ton of bucket load of fucking money, right? So obviously I'm not going to criticize the game. I'm going to say it's the best fighting game ever.
But that's literally not true because there were people who were criticizing the game during the beta. They still enjoyed it, but they did say that there were problems. They had issues with it. So you literally don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But of course you don't. But yet again, isn't he supposed to be spending time with his wife? So how does he have all this time to watch all these streamers allegedly kiss this game's butt? Makes you think.
So that I can make money. And that's a big difference between back in the day and today. Because back in the day, there was no money to be made.
Okay, so then there was nothing to strive for. So the circumstances have changed. What does that mean? That's like people who say, oh, you couldn't make money when I started YouTube and whatever. Okay, because the circumstances weren't there for you to do it. What does that mean? Okay, so you did it for the love of the game until it started to become profitable for you. Okay, there's an entry that get monetized on YouTube and Twitch and anything else anyway. So what's the difference?
I'll say that again. Back in the day, there was no money to be made. If you were a competitive fighting game player, you did it for the love of the game. You did it because you enjoyed the games.
Last time I checked, tournaments did have payouts though, Phil. They may have not been very big, but, you know, ass clowns like you, well, really just you, and sat there and bankrupt yourself damn near just to go, taking cash advancements off of credit cards when we didn't have a job, didn't even know how we were going to pay rent the following month, but we thought it was a good idea to take cash advancements out of credit cards. That's crazy. That's crazy. So what did you do it for, Phil? Was it really for the love of the game or was it for clout? Because love of the game and clout are two separate things. Womp womp.
Because you were going to make a bucket load of money streaming the game. Get it? So because of that, the entire FGC is kissing this game's ass.
And see, this is reasons like this that people ignore. And for good reason. Like, he's stuck in this really archaic type fucking mindset, and you can't really get through to him. And if you do get through to him, he's just going to suck your dick and just agree with everything you say. He didn't learn anything. He just adapted to what you're saying, just so, you know what I'm saying, he feels like he's on the winning side. He's a coward, basically. And no one wants to deal with cowards.
Even though me watching, I'm like, it doesn't look that good. Again, it really strongly reminds me of Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which I didn't like. So,
and he wasn't good at it. And we were going around to other tournaments stealing people's footage on that too. But then again, he's been stealing people's footage since like Street Fighter 4. So make of that what you will.
Here we are, a decade
holding up fucking tournaments and shit so he can fucking snatch other people's shit up so he can throw it on his fucking channel.
Over a decade later, and it looks like it's a different company releasing a very similar game. And because we haven't.
And then, ironically enough, excuse me. And then, ironically enough, this ass clown wants to sit there and say, oh, people were struggling to get notoriety and whatnot because, you know, they were grinding it out during the FGC days and whatever, while I was just doing mediocre shit on YouTube and I was getting all this crazy following. He never mentions that he was literally stealing people's footage. He doesn't mention that he was literally snatching up these tournaments. He was snatching up their footage and putting it out before they could put it out on their own channel. But he makes it sound like they were just struggling to get views. He was literally stealing their shit. Whatever. We'll get back to that. We'll get back to that. Holy shit.
Had Marvel in a while, it's probably going to do well. I would.
But I bet you if you confront his ass on, oh, I was just trying to promote that, you weren't promoting jack shit. Eat a dick.
Bet it might even be the biggest fighting game of next year. I'm going to go on record. And I'm going to say,
put your fucking hoof down. Jesus Christ. Why do you just look filthy? Like every time you see him, he just looks filthy. Just dirty. Just absolutely fucking dirty.
Early. I think that Marvel TOKON will likely be the biggest fighting game of 2026. It's going to.
Oh no, imagine that.
Going to beat the Invincible game. It's going to beat that 2X KO joke of a game.
Oh no, imagine that. A well-established fucking fighting game franchise is going to beat out some of the newcomers, even though that 2K thing might be fun. I don't think it's going to beat Marvel, but it might be fun. Oh no, imagine that, Phil. Being a real fucking Snortadonis with that one, Phil. Good job. Good job.
It's going to beat everything. Even Street Fighter 6, I feel like it might surpass Street Fighter 6. Why? Because it's Marvel characters and because it has a hype-looking gameplay that when you stream it or you play it in tournament, it's flashy.
Literally fucking milquetoast type of fucking opinions and shit. Jesus Christ.
That doesn't mean that it's going to be amazing. All right? But that you won't hear that from the FGC for the most part. I am overgeneralizing. But
yeah, you're good for that.
If you see these people that are absolutely freaking out about the game, it's like, so what exactly is great about the game? Can you explain in detail what is so amazing about this game? Well, I'll tell you what's amazing about the game.
How much time did he devote to this shit that he isn't devoted to his wife? He forgot his whole fucking narrative. That shit's crazy. That shit's crazy. And one of you can make the argument, maybe a few of you, be like, oh, well, he didn't spend all day doing it, whatever. But he just bitched and complained about how he didn't play the beta because he thought spending time with his wife was way more important. So theoretically, and all the time that he sat there and quote unquote did all this research and scouted to see what other people think about this game, he could have gone upstairs, fired up a stream, and streamed it for 2 or 3 hours. I don't think Cat would have minded. Makes you think.
You had a great amount of viewers and you made a lot of money. That's what was great about the game. It doesn't look that good to me.
And then here's another thing too. It's funny how he wants to shit on people in the FGC for streaming it or making content and making money, right? Yet he sits there and streams and plays video games poorly, I might add. But he streams and plays video games poorly and he can profit, but no one in the FGC can. And then, oh, well, he's okay with everybody in the FGC doing it, but they don't have any real talent or skill, so all they can do is FGC shit. It sounds like he's bitter all around. His FGC shit doesn't ever pick up or blow up or nothing like that. When was the last time DSP put out anything that was fighting game related that got, let's be generous, fucking 20,000 views, 30,000 views? No, let's go the other direction. Between 15 and 20,000 views on a fighting game, any fighting game content that he's done. Name one game. Link it if you can find it. He's got nothing. But you can go to Smug's channel and see that shit. You can go to Max's channel and you can see that shit. You can go to Justin's channel and you can see that shit. You can go to IFC Yipes' channel and see that shit. You can go to Roofermonger and see that shit. You can go to fucking JM Croft and see that shit. So how is it that I can go to I can name all these people off? You can go to Dialophone and see that shit. You know what I'm saying? You can go to Salem, you can go and see it. So how is it I can name all these people off? Because I'm a real FGC head. How is it that I can name all these people off and shit and whatnot? And these guys can all seem to do it, and that's all they do, by the way. And yet DSP is supposedly a variety streamer with a portion of the market, and he can't do that. Womp womp. Womp womp.
And again, I'm not the only one. It's just the people who have this mentality are old school players.
The same old school players that are playing the game and liking it themselves while still having their criticisms. It's just their criticisms don't match his. And that's what he's mad about. Imagine that.
Who have played better, but they're not prominent in the modern FGC. You know what I'm saying?
That doesn't mean they don't have a voice. You don't have any voice. So I don't even know why you're trying to tie yourself to the OGs when they never looked at you as an OG player and you're not, theoretically. You're a groupie. You know what I'm saying? You're a glorified groupie. You know what I'm saying? Fucking Sherry Cherry has fucking more fucking clout than DSP does. And if you know who Sherry is, then you know what I'm talking about. I heard back in the day she was oh so sweet. Let me stop. Like I said, I think she's married now. I think she's turned a new leaf, if you will. So I think those days are past and done with her.
A ton of the people from my generation retired on purpose. They said, we don't want to play Modern Fighters. They suck. So they just stopped playing. Some of them now are part of the tournament scene where they run tournaments or they even run arcades and they do stuff like that.
Does he not know that they still run tournaments for the arcade, for classic games, I should say? That's still a thing. And if they retired from playing, but they're running tournaments now, so they didn't retire from the scene, but that's what he tries to make it sound like. And some of these guys still play at their own tournaments. And how would he know if he's not even part of the FGC and he doesn't follow the scene? Like, let him fucking give him enough rope to hang himself. Just like let him talk himself into a fucking problem. Fucking crazy, bro.
Or they just outright retired and don't play anymore. But
oh, like you mean how he went ahead and told fucking who was that? Like how he told Stuttering Craig that I want to say it was it Killer Kai? I think it was that Killer Kai wasn't active and he didn't know if how to get a hold of him, and fucking Stuttering Craig found him literally that fast on Twitter. Or how he says like there a lot of the OGs aren't even on Twitter or X anymore. You can't get a hold of them, and come to find out they're all pretty much still on Twitter and they all talk to each other. Most of them stream on Twitch, or they have active YouTube channels. You mean like that? All right, I'll wait.
In general, these modern fighting games are not it. That's why I've been playing CVS 2 for months, okay? And we're going to talk about that today because, sadly, I hate to say this, we may be taking a break from fighting games, all right? We're going to talk about basically each game on my schedule and talk about what's going on currently with fighters because Friday night's stream was not satisfying to me in any way, and I want to talk about that. It sucks. We'll talk about it, though. All right.
What, not enough scrubs and he was getting beat up by people who knew what they were doing? Imagine that.
So let's say good morning to everyone. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? Who do we got? It's going to be the balance all week long. The only difference at the end of the week on Friday night, we're going to do Friday Night Fights, Capcom versus SNK 2 again. However, this is the final topic I have to talk about for today before we get to Q&A. Last week, we brought back Friday Night Fights. Okay, I hadn't done fighting games on a Friday night in a while because we had a marathon, because we had a new release, because I had a day off one week. So because of that, it hadn't been like almost a month since we did them on a Friday. Now, typically, when we did fighting games on Friday nights, they did well, meaning a lot of people would show up and engage and support, and we'd fight.
Interestingly enough, in my timeline, when I'm recording this, people have been, well, they've been doing this for a few months now, actually. But people have started to develop, or they're starting to see a pattern or a rhythm where DSP is taking like once a month, maybe it's twice a month, but I think it's only once a month, where DSP is taking like consecutive days off, and people are thinking it may be counseling of some type or something along those lines, something that he has to hold to at least once a month. I think it's twice a month, but let's just say once a month to be safe. Hedge my bets. I've never really bought into the whole divorce coin thing, but I may speak about it. Like I'll name the segment later or something like that. I may bring that up because there are some interesting things that are going on at the time that I'm recording this, where I'm in late November getting into December, that don't seem right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it seems like Kat is just not around. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's almost like he's trying to compensate for her absence. You know what I mean? And it seems really, really strange. And given what happened with Panda all them years before, 2017, that would give him even more incentive to hide it if she did leave him. And I'm not saying that she did. I'm not investing in divorce coin yet. But his behavior is really, really strange. That's all I'll say. It's really, really strange. I mean, don't be wrong. The guy's, you know what I'm saying, mentally disabled and shit, and he's mentally ill. So there's that too. But very, very strange.
And a lot of comp, and it would be a lot of fun. Friday night, not so much. What I mean by that is it was incredibly difficult to actually find competition in this game at this point, even on PlayStation, which seems to be everyone's remaining platform of choice for this game. Okay? I tried to play it on PC and I couldn't find anyone weeks ago. Everyone said, oh, everyone went to PlayStation. And I was like, oh, okay, we'll play it on PlayStation. Well, I had a really tough time finding competition. All right, I was searching and searching.
That's funny because that's a similar excuse he used from when he jumped from Xbox to PlayStation after Evo last year, I want to say, for Street Fighter 6. And it's a similar excuse because it didn't really make a whole lot of sense on why he didn't want to stay on Xbox, except for the fact that Xbox and PC had kind of like a native crossover, and he didn't want to run into PC players. And I think he was accusing people of cheating even back then, if I remember correctly. It doesn't matter. DSP accuses everybody of cheating who's better than him.
Then I would find someone, I'd play them for a game, their connection lagged like crazy. They literally only abused the lag.
I still think some of that lag's on his end, but he won't admit it. Or he's just too stupid and he don't know.
Meaning, roll throw, roll jab, roll mash. It's pathetic. These people don't know how to play fighting games. They're abusing the lag on purpose because it's the only way that they can win. And the sad fact is some of these people got to grandmaster ranking, literally roll mashing buttons. They're horrible scrubs. So playing them isn't satisfying. I usually end up spanking them. And then we get no satisfaction out of it because none of the matches are good games.
So why is he crying about the tactics if he can beat it? Make that make sense.
Now, luckily, I do have a viewer, King Crimson, who has joined me to play me on PlayStation 5 pretty frequently in the last few sessions, but I can't just play one guy.
I feel like that guy was just cucking out to him and feeding DSP wins to keep his ego up. That's just my own personal opinion.
I need to have a variety of comp, and the truth is, the people who are playing this game are not good at it. They're terrible. They've literally abused lag to get to where they are.
It's almost like, man, it'd been nice, Phil, to actually have some friends, right? That'd been a thing. Instead of you having to, I think eventually he ended up going to VDO and Smoothcat and ended up begging them to play with him. But I'm pretty sure both those guys are Marvel 2 guys. I'm not sure if they're CVS guys, though. I think they're Marvel 2 heads. Even still, that's pretty sad that you ain't talked to them guys in years, and then you come up out of nowhere and beg them to come onto your streams. Well, they didn't come onto the streams, but they would play him while he was on stream. That's pretty sad. But that's pretty indicative of how DSP treats people, so he's on brand for that. It's literally par for the course.
They never bothered learning actual gameplay mechanics to know what to do, and they suck shit. And that's sad. The people who are the highest ranked on PlayStation are some of the worst players. The person who's ranked number 1 on PlayStation actually can't do an anti-air. They literally see you jump and then they roll and mash buttons because their internet connection's so bad, the rollback favors their mashed input and they get a throw or a jab instead of you actually being able to punish the roll, which is how it's supposed to be.
So it's not that they can't do a fucking anti-air, they just went with another option. Huh? Like, all right, whatever.
So, it's pretty pathetic. I've enjoyed playing Capcom vs. SNK 2 way more than I thought that I would.
Yeah, you sound like you really gave a fuck about that. Yeah, you had a great time, Phil. You sure? That's what it sounds like.
Seriously. I actually thought that I would only play this for a little bit and I'd get bored with it, but we've played it for over 3 months, and I've enjoyed more and more and more learning this game.
You mean beating up scrubs? And how are you going to say other people don't know how to play a game that you yourself are still learning how to play? Imagine that.
In truth, CVS2 is a game that back in the day I probably should have played more of.
No, you would have gotten spanked by the Japanese. The Japanese would have eaten you alive. Fucking A, bro. The Japanese would have eaten his ass alive if he was playing that shit back in the day. You fucking crazy? You fucking crazy. Like, I think Bass is his name. He's still like the best like CVS2 player in the world. And he still plays. Because they still have Evo, they still do side tournaments for CVS2. And he still wins. Like, you know what I'm saying? That dude's arguably one of the, well, he probably is. He's probably the best CVS2 player in the world and whatnot. I think he's one of the top ranked guys on fucking GGPO, if he's not the top guy. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck are you talking about? But didn't he say that everybody retired? All the OG guys who play those games don't play anymore, and yet they're all on GGPO. He knows that, but he's not over there. Well, sorry, they're on FIGHTCADE. GGPO is the system they use, but he's on FIGHTCADE. They're on FIGHTCADE, I should say. I'm sorry. They're all on FIGHTCADE. If he wanted to smoke, he can go over there and get it, but he don't. He cries and complains that they're not playing on console. Eat a dick.
Because when you take a look at the big 4, which is Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo and Capcom vs. SNK 2, CVS 2 plays more like Super Turbo than the other games. Okay? So I probably should have learned it better and played it more.
Nah, there was too much variety. He got beasted. And that back in those days, I'm not sure if the current collection has it, but back in those days, they had roll cancel. Now, can DSP roll cancel? I'm sure if he actually tried, he probably could. But that doesn't mean he knows how to utilize it properly, so it doesn't really even matter. And that they would have eaten him. They would have eaten his ass with that bullshit. Holy fuck. You know what I'm saying? K Groove and P Groove would have bodied him so fucking hard. So, yeah, you can go ahead and take all that shit to fucking divorce court, motherfucker.
Back in the day, I did not. I regret that now because I actually really like the game, but there's just no comp for it. Like, I've played players from the past.
They'd have embarrassed the shit out of him if he had played. Holy fuck. They would have embarrassed his ass. That shit would have been Korean barbecue all day, and they would just pass his ass around. Holy shit. That shit would have been, Jesus Christ. Not even Korean barbecue, just any Asian barbecue and whatnot. They'd just pass his ass around. Holy fuck. Walking ATM is one thing, but they'd have literally just passed his pork butt around all day. Pork butt, fucking, what's that shit called? Pork belly, obviously, bacon, and then all the other fucking yummy stuff in there. Fucking, they would have just passed his ass around. That would have not have happened. He would have only embarrassed himself further, and he would have just ran back to, Super Turbo. And then he's lying because he actually has played CVS2 back in those days, and he got beat up. That's the reason why he gravitated back to fucking Super Turbo, because he couldn't compete in all the other games. He couldn't compete in any of the other games. Super Turbo was the only thing that he had, that he'd ever shown any real results in. That's why I can't find these alleged tournament results and these Marvel vs. Capcom 1 tournaments he allegedly was in, unless it's that lame shit that he was doing when he was at the mall, when they were chasing around, well, when he was allegedly telling people he was chasing around 12 and 14-year-olds on some pedo shit. Outside of that, there is no official ranking that I've found so far. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means I haven't found it. And you can't find any of the tournament rankings when they were holding whatever they were holding at those mall tournaments. Sorry, that's not a thing. I mean, I guess you really, really could look if someone put it on a site somewhere, but I doubt it. If it's not on Capcom United, if it's not on Event Hubs, or if it's not on SRK, it just doesn't exist.
Who I know, but the connections are laggy as shit. So I can't really get much out of that. You know, I can, if I play Smooth Cat, great. I play his P Groove, and he
okay. So Smooth Cat does play CVS2. All right, bet.
parries the shit out of me, but I can't learn the timing to beat it because the game lags like crazy.
Oh, so you're just garbage. Okay, fair enough.
So what's the point, right?
And that's crazy because if Smooth Cat plays P Groove, he's at more of a risk. He literally has to take more risk now I think about it than fucking DSP does. Whereas if Smooth Cat was playing K Groove, I could be like, all right then. Well, you know what I'm saying? It's more defensive. You know what I'm saying? Right before the attack hits, within those active frames, just tap backwards and then you're good. And if you don't, and if you fuck up the just defend, at least you could block. And when you're playing P Groove, you can't do that shit. You out there. If you don't get that parry, you take it a hit. Lag or no lag.
So, yeah, it's frustrating. Now, here's the thing. On Friday night, I not only was able, let me rephrase. I wasn't able to consistently get good opponents. In addition, we did have good support, but we didn't hit a goal. All right, we did though. We had over $100 to support for Capcom vs. SNK 2, and I appreciate that. Anytime I'm playing a fighting game and you guys are doing over $100 to support, that's very significant. All right, and I hope that you understand that. You know, I know that fighting games, unless I'm playing the hot new one, you know, to get that support for a retro fighting game is pretty awesome, and I appreciate that. But we didn't hit a goal. So it's like double frustration because I'm struggling trying to find comp and make an entertaining stream, and it's hard to do when the game is dying, and the support was dwindling, okay?
So we don't appreciate the $100. So because you asked clowns couldn't hit the 150, you failed him, apparently. And he couldn't find competition. Because he had sat there and ducked a bunch of people. Imagine, or other people just have lives, or they're fighting on better, or they're fighting on a better platform, and not just on console like this fucking retard. All right then.
Excuse me. So here's the deal.
And didn't he buy Capcom Collection twice? Because I feel like he bought it for PlayStation and he bought it for PC. I don't know if he bought it for Xbox or not. but I think he bought it for PlayStation and he bought it for PC, if I remember correctly. Don't hold me to that, though.
This Friday night, we're going to give it another go. If I can find comp and if we get support, then I will try to keep CVS2 in the rotation. If we play it again on Friday night and basically we can't find anyone and the support has dwindled, I think we're going to give fighting games a rest for a bit. I think we'll retire them for like a month or two.
I don't know why is that, because all he's doing is stifling himself. By the time he goes back, when the new hotness comes out, he's going to get beasted the fuck up, unless it's the new pay-to-win character and whatnot. And we all saw what happened when Bison got figured out and how he and bitched and complained about that bullshit.
What I'm looking for is this new Mortal Kombat collection, the Legacy collection.
Holy fuck, that shit was dead on arrival. Oh my Christ. Ew, that's nasty. And didn't Warner Brothers get bought out by somebody recently? Well, they're in the process of getting bought out by somebody? It doesn't matter. They need to stop making Mortal Kombat anyway. They need to take a couple of years off and reassess. Same thing with Call of Duty. They just need to take a couple of years and reassess. Like, they can't keep doing what they're doing. Like, they can't keep getting away with this. They just can't keep doing it. It's not working out.
That's going to be coming out soon. The rumor is it's coming out by the end of October. That would be my next fighting game that I would play. I would basically bring back Friday Night Fights, and we would do that, and we would play. I mean, that game has so many games. Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3, Ultimate, 4, and then it even has weird versions. Like it has the WaveNet version of Ultimate 3, which has a character that wasn't originally in the game, Noob Saibot. I've never even seen that character before used in a game. So, no, 30th of September.
Wait, what? He said that he's never seen Noob Saibot in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3? What the fuck are you talking about? He was in the... I'm pretty confident Noob Saibot was in the fucking console release. Give me a second. Okay. So Noob Saibot was in the original Mortal Kombat 3, my bad, in the arcade, but he had a palette swap. And he got his original moveset, well, when he was actually a fully playable person with an active moveset or his own moveset, was in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 and its home ports. So what is he talking about? God damn. Yeah, see, I might have to just start pulling this thing up, actually, like, I mean, I can keep doing it the way I'm doing it now, but I probably should really start I should put a plugin, or I should open up a browser source for this shit, and then I can just pull this shit up, and so you guys can kind of see what I'm seeing. I mean, I can just read it out to you for right now, but that's something I should implement in the future, just because it's so much easier to squash some of this bullshit. Yikes!
September is not the release date. It doesn't have a
And if I'm wrong, I'll take the hit, because that's what I do.
release date, unless they just recently announced it. Here, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection.
Do you actually need to sound that out, though, while you're typing? Or, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. I guess as long as he spells it right.
Release date. Nope. 2025. The only thing that leaked was that the Xbox Game Store at one point said September 30th. However, they removed that date, and what they believe it was a placeholder date to say third quarter, which is September 30th is the last day of the third quarter of 2025.
No shit. I think anybody who, whatever, whatever, like this, whatever. Like they don't do placeholders for games. Like, people don't try to shoot for the, the second or third quarter for games and whatnot leading into the holidays. Like, come on, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
So it's actually not coming out that day. It was just a placeholder, and no one actually knows when it's coming out. The rumor is that it's going to be October. So when it comes out, I'd be down to have that be a fighting game where we'll play the classics. Likely, I'm not going to play much past 4. Like, I know there's some other games in that collection, but I'll probably try them all out. I don't know what game is going to stick as a competitive game. For the record, 1 and 2 are not good competitive games at all.
His coverage of fighting games are so terrible. Like, they're so terrible. Like, and that there's so many people that are out there that actually have talent that beat him out and whatnot. Like, he's so just bad at it. He's fucking horrible. And the thing is, right, he could literally be watching his contemporaries, see what they do, and then take what he can incorporate into his own shit, because that's literally what he produces, shit, and then do something more or something different than what he's already doing. Fucking A, bro.
3 is where it started to be competitive. Ultimate 3 was the most played tournament game for Mortal Kombat, meaning that was the one that had the most players. It had a big tournament circuit and everything. So probably Ultimate 3.
I mean, because fucking NetherRealm Studios pushed that shit to the motherfucking moon. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, name an, well, I guess it depends on what part of the country you're in. But there's not too many arcades or fucking pizza shops or fucking, my older siblings talk about going in the laundromats or whatever, where you didn't see a fucking MK machine, especially a Mortal Kombat machine, next to a Street Fighter machine, whatever Street Fighter game they had out at that time. You know what I'm saying? Which I would assume was like, fucking Championship Edition, more than likely. Yeah, Championship Edition. Because I want to say maybe you found Street Fighter 2. You might find a Turbo machine out there in the wilderness somewhere. Obviously Super Turbo. You might have been able to find an Alpha 3 machine. Maybe. It depends. Like maybe in a comic book shop or something. I remember seeing some of those there. But mainly like Marvel games, though. You find those in the comic book shops. For sure, for sure. Yeah. Anyway.
But the thing is, what version of Ultimate 3? There's like 3 versions. There's also going to be Mortal Kombat Trilogy, which is a game that will combine all different versions of the Mortal Kombat characters into one game. So maybe that'll be played. I don't know. So, when it comes out, that's probably the next fighting game I'm going to play. I would love to keep playing CVS 2 up to then, but I don't know what's going to happen. Like I said, if we have a dud of a night on Friday night where...
Why can't you just change the night then that you play? Why don't we do that? Womp womp.
I can't find comp. The stream's boring. The engagement and support are low.
If the stream is boring, that's your fault. At the end of the day, you can't blame... The audience is not going to blame themselves because the streamer's stream is terrible. That's your fault.
Probably not going to do it. We'll probably retire it. And then we'll go back to it when Mortal Kombat comes out. Okay? So now...
What is this? What are you doing with your little hoof? You should punch yourself in the fucking face, but you're not going to do that. So the fuck are you doing with that shit? What is that supposed to be like a phantom pump or something? Oh, I should ask Bro Sci-Phil about that.
Before you basically say, oh, well, what about Street Fighter 6? I'm not interested in Street Fighter 6. I'm just not. The game is boring as shit.
No, he's hit the wall. He's hit the wall and shit. Like, what did Hisoka call that shit in Hunter x Hunter? Like, basically, like, memory overload. It's a real thing, though, like, theoretically. But, like, he's hit the wall mentally and whatnot. Like, he really can't push himself any further where he's currently at in his skill level. And he's got too many mental blocks or limiters. Let's go ahead and talk about some One Punch Man type shit, even though that's based off a real thing. He's got too many limiters on himself mentally that he can't break through and learn anything new. So it is what it is. He's always going to stick to what he's comfortable with.
Every time I try to watch it now, I fall asleep. Seriously. The game is insanely unbalanced. It's so hilarious.
And since when do you have time to watch other people play fighting games? That's weird. But, well, it's not weird, but that's weird for him to say that. Because supposedly when he's not playing games and doing what he needs to do for the business, he's spending all of his active time trying to spend time with his wife. Imagine that.
Because Mai is like the most broken character in the game.
She is. Those shurikens are bullshit. Those shurikens are fucking bullshit, especially the EX versions, plus the what she can hit confirm off of. Like, that chick is, I don't know if I say she's broken. She's really, really, really fucking good. I'll say that. I don't know if I'd say she's broken, but she's really, really fucking good. Holy shit.
And I keep seeing footage. Oh, look, here's a tournament match where someone has dominated Mai and she has 0% health, and then she did one combo and she came back.
Yeah, basically.
No thanks. No thanks.
So he's scared of competition. Okay, fair enough. I mean, we already knew that, but okay.
No patterns for me. No bullshit drive rush nonsense for me. No 80% combo for me. I'm done. You know, I just don't want to play it anymore. It's just not fun to even watch. It's not even like it's not fun to play. It's not even fun for me to watch anymore. I just don't like it. So
it's funny that he says he was watching it, though, because I thought he didn't keep up with the FGC. Imagine that. Except for when he was sitting there trying to copy, was that was that Mana RD, when he was copying his Blanca and shit, trying to fucking emulate that bullshit, and still fucked up basic shit.
Will I ever go back to Street Fighter 6? That's a good question. I don't know. I legit don't know if I'll ever go back to the game or not at this point. We'll have to see, but right now I'm just not interested in it.
No one cares.
Okay? All right.
I should put that soundbite in there. What is that? I think that's some Destiny telling fucking Amberlynn Reed, no one cares. I want to tell you it's Beck, but I'm pretty sure that was Destiny who said that shit, though.
All right, so that covers everything that I wanted to talk about. We got a fun week ahead. Thank you for the early support and the early momentum. Please, let's keep that going. Let's hit that goal. Let's hit support goals so we can do DSP Tries It. We have 6 to go. We can do DSP Tries It literally as early as Tuesday, all right, because that's when this new menu is releasing at Taco Bell. So let's go and let's hit goals to see what happens, okay? Lance Cadmoran says, if you quit CVS 2, would you consider playing the other games in the collection for a stream? Here's the thing.
No. No. He gravitates. He's already told you why. Actually, now I think about it. When DSP told you what the big 4 was, which I'll do it in order of relevance, which was Marvel vs. Capcom 2, CVS 2, Third Strike, and Super Turbo. That's what he's trying to relive. He even told you guys that he regrets not playing those games when they were prominent or back in his quote-unquote tournament days. That's the reason why he plays those games. He's trying to relive and whatnot in some weird-ass sort of way. He's trying to basically drum up the nostalgia that he missed because he was too much of a coward to play back in those days. Because he was never going to make it to the big stage anyway. He was never going to make it in the brackets. He was never getting out of pools. That's the reality. He was not getting out of pools back in those days on that bullshit. And fucking Super Turbo, the numbers were low. They were far more condensed, if you will. I don't want to go as far as saying concentrated, but they were definitely way more condensed. So he had a chance that he could kind of maneuver. He had a chance. But back there during CVS 2, Marvel, Third Strike, in its heyday at EVO, or even at the qualifiers, no. Hell no. They'd have eaten his ass up. Between the Americans, the Japanese, and the Europeans, nah, fuck that. He'd have been beaten up on all sides. He was just lucky with Super Turbo to make it as far as he did. And he was never able to replicate it, so what's that tell you? The port was doing the majority of the heavy lifting, and he knew it. Deep down in his fucking worthless, piggy soul, he knows that port, that PS1 port fucking did all the heavy lifting. He knows it, deep down. And then all the time he grinded and devoted to it to learn all the little nuances of it and shit. No, he wasn't going to give that much time to fucking Third Strike. There's way too much into Third Strike. Big ups to Goji Tanks, by the way. I need to reach out to them on like Twitter or Discord if they have it and whatnot, because I'd like to have a conversation with them about a particular thing, if they're willing to have it, I should say. But big ups to Goji Tanks. So Third Strike, no. CVS 2, hell no. Dude, it was a dogfight. It was a dogfight between the Americans and the Japanese. Hell no. America was throwing their best at CVS 2, and I can't even say they were breaking even. I feel like the Japanese basically ended up getting over on us for the most part. I mean, not to say that the Americans didn't get a lot of wins, but goddamn, bro, the Japanese were coming out there in force on that shit. And then Marvel vs. Capcom 2, the Americans pretty much had that shit. They pretty much had that shit on lock. Like, the Japanese really like playing low tier characters, and they actually came up with some pretty interesting team synergy, I should say, with the different type of assists and characters that people never really thought would make work. But yeah, I would say for sure America had dominance and supremacy over Marvel vs. Capcom 2. CVS 2 and Third Strike was a dogfight. That was a dogfight. DSP don't got that dog in him. You know, you don't have that. He don't have that wild hog in him either. So nah, not at all. And like I said, Super Turbo, he got lucky. That's all I'm going to say about that. He got lucky.
So you say
and even then, he still didn't win the majority of that shit. Like I said,
other games of the collection. Power Stone. Power Stone's not a fighting game. Power Stone's a party game. All right. If you want me to play it a little bit, I would mess around with it, but I've never really played it, so I'd suck at it.
See how close-minded he is?
And
literally bought a collection for one game.
Likely anyone who's playing it 3 months.
And he damn sure isn't playing. I don't know I can't remember now if CVS 1's in there, but he definitely don't want no smoke of that. CVS1 was an animal, bruh. Like, so much shit was fucking kind of broken and stupid in CVS1 and whatnot. CVS2 corrected some of it, but even still, when people figured out fucking you could roll cancel, and then you could roll cancel into certain types of throws that were basically that you couldn't stop, fucking A, bro. That's what made CVS2 crazy.
Sin is good at it. That's why they keep playing it. So I'll just get bodied. But
And I'm pretty sure he didn't play SNK versus Capcom Chaos. I'm pretty sure he didn't do that.
I'm okay with trying it once. Rival Schools United by Fate, just for
Oh yeah, you're definitely not playing that. So
or I think it's called Project Justice in there, just for like a one-off to try. I'd maybe mess with it, but again, that's not something that's going to have longevity. And it's like Street Fighter Alpha 3 is probably the other one that I would consider playing and trying to learn. But there's a big problem with everything I've just mentioned, okay? Out of all the games in that collection, Capcom Fighting Collection 2 is actually the name of the game, okay? Out of all the games in that collection, the game that's the most popular and the game that had the highest player count was Capcom vs. SNK 2. So if we're 3 months into the game and I can't even find people playing CVS 2, how am I going to find people playing the other games that had less players?
that's actually not the case. One, his connection's probably bad. Two, he just picked a bad time of the week to play, and I think that was by design. Three, all those other games probably have a far more concentrated player base. Let me give you an example. Go back to when he was playing. Oh, what was that? Was that Street Fighter Collection 30th anniversary? And how he was only looking to play Super Turbo, and he only jumped into that other playlist that was basically like a round robin of different games or games that you could vote on in particular. And yet he could always find a game. He could always find a match, I should say, for those other games. And he would always try to vote for Super Turbo to force them to play it, because when he was in the Super Turbo playlist, he was running into the same killers over and over and over again. If you guys, you know, and whatnot. So there's that. So he basically went into those other playlists to force scrubs to play Super Turbo. Keep that in mind. It's kind of like that.
You see? So I'd be okay if you wanted me to try, but there's probably not going to be anyone to find. It's going to be the situation of the other collections.
Literally trying to kill the idea of this crib. And then he wonders why no one recommends anything to him. Or no one recommends anything seriously to him, I should say.
Where you try to find a game. Like, remember when I was playing the Marvel collection? And at first we had comp for X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom 1, and other games. And then after a while, there's no one for those games anymore. So all you can play is Marvel vs. Capcom 2. It's the only game that you can even find a person to fight against. So I guarantee you it's going to be the same. All right. But I wouldn't be opposed. Like, I played Alpha 3 on release night and I really liked it, but I never went back to it. I just stuck with CVS 2 for 3 months and got much better at it. So we could go back to Alpha 3, but I don't know if we'd find anyone to play. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
He coped hard as fuck there. He coped hard as fuck there.
That's true too. Dapian says it would be interesting to see player numbers if FIGHTCADE didn't exist. This is the problem with the FGC. I'm just going to say this right now, and everyone in the FGC can hate on me. I don't give a shit. FIGHTCADE has killed retro games in the community.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. It was because of FIGHTCADE that led to the demand to have that shit re-released on console. But DSP don't know shit, so he's just going to talk out of his ass. When he talks about retro releases, he means on console, which was his preferred choice anyway. Even though he bought every fucking iteration of Super Turbo that was ever released on console. So imagine that.
FIGHTCADE is the reason why these collections don't have effort put into them. FIGHTCADE is the reason why these collections don't have longevity and why the retro games die. And then everyone runs back to FIGHTCADE because FIGHTCADE is free and illegal.
So think of what he's saying. He's basically saying, hey, you should be only forced to play it on console, and then once you're done with it, the game, I guess, should just die out. Think about that. If you really think about how he's trying to put this into perspective, you shouldn't have an alternative. If it's re-released on console, you should be only forced to play that. But the consoles are made for kind of new generation people who never had a chance to play that, or who just want to go to the nostalgia of it and whatnot. It's essentially the kiddie pool, if you will. You know what I mean? Or at least that's one way of looking at it, I should say. And then once you get your bearings, you try to play as hard as you can on there. And then if you still want to stick with it, then you can go to FIGHTCADE where all the real killers are. Like, it's done like that for a reason. That's the reason why Capcom never went after FIGHTCADE. They're still not going to. Why would they?
But no one cares. The FGC is really bad when it comes to this kind of thing. Back in the day, I remember when Marvel vs. Capcom 2 came out on consoles, everyone ran out. Did they buy it? No, they pirated it. They pirated the living shit out of MVC 2. Million.
Okay, he's being very facetious here. First off, when Marvel vs. Capcom 2 came out for console, the preferred console was for Dreamcast. Okay, now here's the thing. When, you know what I'm saying? Because even I have a copy of that somewhere. Pretty sure. But what really got Marvel vs. Capcom 2 popular, and this is what he's actually talking about, is he's talking about when the Marvel mixes were a thing. Now, if you don't know what that is, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Marvel mixes is essentially what put Winter Brawl and Seasons beatings on the map.
10%.
Quick context. So after Evo back in DSP's day, they had that, I think it was called Seasons Beatings. It might have evolved into Winter Brawl, but I think it was called Seasons Beatings. Seasons Beatings was basically where it was a fighting game tournament. It had a bunch of different fighting games there, but it was primarily eventually ended up just turning into a Marvel tournament. So that's where you saw like your grudge matches, big Marvel match, big money matches were there. Not all of them, but some of them. All of that. You know what I'm saying? That's where people congregated and shit. The place that they used to hold it at, that venue doesn't exist anymore. I don't think. Or they turned it into something else and they can't hold the tournament there, unfortunately. Because it was held in like a, I don't know if I could say it was like a bowling alley type situation type deal, but they had like a bunch of different eateries and shit in there and whatnot. A lot of, you go back and look at the old streams for it, there's a lot of really cool stuff. One year, actually, Sanford Kelly almost got into it with Duck Doe. They ended up squashing that shit, but they almost got into it. They almost got into it 1 year, though, which is interesting shit. Anyway, but that shit was where, like, Marvel... I don't want to say Marvel mixes were born there, but that's where Marvel mixes were showcased. Okay, a Marvel mix is Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but people would get in there and they would mess with the music files and put their own music in. You know what I'm saying? Whatever rap they wanted, hard rock, whatever they wanted, they would mix that shit up. People did this shit at home. It's even easier to do that shit now. If you Google it, you can find it. I think IFC Yipes may have one of the largest collections of Marvel mixes now that I think about it. But I'm not sure if there's an actual deposit or depository that you can download it. If there is, someone let me know. But anyway, you could go in there and change your music around, and you could go in there and change your colors around. So you've wanted, like, if you wanted Snow White, basically the Snow White version of fucking, or a Snow White edition of Magneto, or a Miracle Whip version of Magneto, you could get it. You could get all people did all kinds of ridiculous colors, bro. Like crazy shit. Like original X-Men colors, like the original shit. Or when they went to the yellow and red version of it, or Team Gold colors. You know, just to give you an example. As some people are putting X-Force colors in their shit. Just whatever variations that you saw in the comic book of a certain character, you could get it in there. And then people just came up with their own stuff. And that was kind of like a tedious type of thing, because you're changing the colors literally segment by segment, pixel by pixel, so to speak. But eventually they end up streamlining it. Really cool stuff. And they did, and there was a movement to do that for CVS2 as well. And there were a lot of really unique versions of that too. But that's what he's talking about. He's talking about when the Marvel mixing era, which was wild. Like, I don't know if you could actually have a Marvel mix at Evo, but for all the tournaments leading up to Evo and afterwards, you could.
Why? Because, it's free, it's cheap. Yeah, but then you kill the business. The whole idea is that if you buy the stuff, okay, then more will be made, because the money that you spent on it became profit for the company. So now they are inspired to make more games. When you pirate everything, no one wants to make more games.
We're really going to moral fag this bullshit? Jesus Christ.
Do you get it? So...
And keep in mind, when he's complaining and crying about this, according to Marvel, like to Capcom, I should say, the game was already dead and dusted anyway. You got to understand, they played Marvel vs. Capcom 2 far past its life cycle. CVS2, Third Strike, all this stuff was played far past its life cycle. If it wasn't for Marvel mixes, if it wasn't for FIGHTCADE, if it wasn't for the tournament scene caring about those games, then it wouldn't exist. And that's what gave birth and led to Street Fighter 4, and then led to that. Then it led to that run. So keep that all in mind. You know what I'm saying? By the time people did Marvel mixes and shit, you could barely even find a copy of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 in Dreamcast. Not until that shit was released on PlayStation and Xbox. So where are you going to get it? The only way you could get it is pirate it. Because it would have been hard as hell for you to find it, an actual original copy. You couldn't just walk into an EB Games or a GameStop and find it regularly. You might be able to find it every once in a while. He doesn't even understand shit from his own time frame. What the fuck?
You take a look at FIGHTCADE. All right.
All just so he can make his fucking lame ass point. It's fucking pathetic. Like I said, to blatantly be willing to lie like that is insane.
Why do you think these collections come out without crossplay, without the necessary features to make them have longevity? It's because they know that it's a cheap cash grab. They're going to come out with this. People will buy it, play it for 3 months, and then they're back to FIGHTCADE.
But if retards like you didn't buy those collections, then you could demand for the collections to be better. Did you ever think about that? No, because it's not his fault.
If FIGHTCADE didn't exist, these collections would have more longevity.
Literally gatekeeping. Take this all in. He's literally gatekeeping here.
The company would put more effort into them. It's just that simple.
But if no one's playing the game because there's no FIGHTCADE, then there's no demand. And then only the old school players might pick it up, and maybe they don't pick it up. Or maybe they play it off stream. Maybe they don't make videos on it. Then what? Then you just got to hope that new people are going to come in, play the game, which they will, at least some will, and that they're going to carry the torch until the old school guys come back. If that was the case, then why do they say that Street Fighter 4 literally saved not only FGC or the fighting game community, but fighting games in general when it came out and made it online? Ask him to explain that to you, if he can.
Running ROMs and emulators and shit on your fucking PC, you're killing classic games, is what you're doing. You're making it that only a small group of people who are into that emulation community will ever enjoy them.
That community is not as small as you and back in your caveman days, Phil. Like, there's not a person who's listening to me now who doesn't know how to emulate a game. It's really, really easy. Literally, you can go to Google and it'll walk you through it in a few minutes.
You'll never have.
Finding a place to get those emulated games may be the challenge, but that's neither here nor there. Shh. Let's keep that between me and you for now.
The classics be mainstream if the collections die within 3 months because you complained that the collection wasn't perfect and you ran back to fucking FIGHTCADE again.
Nothing can be perfect, so it is what it is. FIGHTCADE's not even perfect. It's as close to arcade perfect as you can get, but it's not perfect. I mean, people still argue that the Dreamcast versions are probably the most, you know what I'm saying, the closest thing to arcade perfect you can get your hands on, if you can get it. And you can find the ROMs and burn that to a disc and play it on your Dreamcast if you want to. If you can find an active and working Dreamcast, of course.
But no one listens. FGC will never listen to someone like me because they think they know better.
Coming from a retard who thinks he knows better. Imagine that. And it's not like the FGC didn't have this conversation with itself back in the day either. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's the only one who came up with this idea or came up with this notion about it. Like, this shit hasn't been widely debated. Fucking dumbass.
So, I'm sorry, but that's just the case. They may argue.
What are you going to be sorry for? No one cares about your opinion. You just admitted that. What the fuck you saying sorry for?
Well, FIGHTCADE did a service because back in the day, there were no ways to play these games. Well, yes and no. Okay?
Oh, yes and no. Oh, I'm anxious to hear how this works.
Yes and no. You're right when it comes to the actual arcade perfect versions. But there was Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix.
And you shitted on that game. What the fuck you... Oh, boy. Let's go ahead and do that. You shitted on that game. Go ahead. What else you got for me?
There was Street Fighter 3 Third Strike Online Edition.
You shitted on that, too. What else you got for me?
Okay. They tried. They did try to release versions. And those versions did succeed for a bit. But ultimately what ended up happening is people would run back to FIGHTCADE.
Then they didn't succeed. You mean people tolerated it for a while? and whatnot, and then they went back to the old. Then they went back to FIGHTCADE, and then they released a new version of it a few years later. Maybe your definition of succeeding and my definition of succeeding are different, but all right.
So the initial reason behind FIGHTCADE makes sense, and I support that. I
thought he said FIGHTCADE was killing retro games. Now we're support. God damn, dude. Just flip-flops on everything. Talks out of both sides of his snout all the fucking time. And you said you don't give a shit about what the FGC has to... You said, or he said, he said that he doesn't care what the FGC thinks about his opinion. Then why the fuck are you flip-flopping then? Can't stand 10 toes on nothing. Or 4 hooves on anything. Well, 8 hooves, I guess. But anyway, 4 hooves on anything at all. Straight cowards. Nothing more than a fucking coward.
Want to have what is it called? What's the word that starts with a P that means that you're supporting games so that they have a healthy life cycle and they don't go into
Preserving for posterity?
retirement because no one can access them. Posterity. I support FIGHTCADE's efforts to make posterity for these older games. But the truth is that when the effort actually finally goes into it, and you have a version of Super Turbo that comes out, or a version of Third Strike that comes out, or this collection that has CVS 2, right? You have your version. So why are you playing FIGHTCADE?
Because those versions aren't very good. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're still problematic. And you're going to get the best fighting game experience by playing on PC. Which is the reason why your dumbass went to PC. What the fuck are you talking about, bro? You can't, you know what I'm saying? You can't be halfway crook. You can't do that. You're either you're in or you're out. If you're gonna play, if you're playing on console and PC, cool. But you can't sit there and bash one to preserve the other just because that's how you feel that day. That doesn't work that way. Not at all.
So now the collection dies, everyone runs back to FIGHTCADE. That's it. Back to obscurity. Oh well, that's what you wanted.
They didn't have big numbers in the first place, so it doesn't matter. It's not like, keep in mind, when these fighting game collections come out, it's not like there's no way to really track this. So, you know what I'm saying? So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. It's not like there's 100,000, 200,000, 500,000 people playing. Let's just be honest. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me give you a really good example. I would say half of Maximilian's viewership don't even play fighting games. They watch them. You know what I'm saying? They watch him play them, certainly. And they may watch tournaments or whatever, but they don't play. And Max knows that. You know what I'm saying? You can say the same thing for Justin. You can say the same thing for a lot of people. Let me give you another example. I'll give you a better example that I can actually kind of link myself to. Look at look at Call of Duty, for example. You know what I'm saying? You really think when when Nate Shot or Scump or fucking Swag or Symphony or Metaphor or any of those guys, you think that they have, you know, between 7 and 10,000, 15,000 people watching. Do you think all those guys play Call of Duty? Like all those people that watch them? No, it's not a thing. It's not a thing. At best, they have half. It's just the reality of it. Some people may not like the game, but they find people entertaining too. Like I don't really play a lot of Street Fighter not Street Fighter 6. Sorry. I don't play a lot of fucking Black Ops 6. But I'll watch I watch a lot of people. But I'll watch Sally's the dog play that shit though, and whatnot, and his second channel. Like, you know what I mean? He's entertaining. I gotta tell you. And a lot of his content revolves around Warzone. I don't play Warzone. You know what I'm saying? I can't remember the last time I've done that unless I'm asked to, and whatever. Or someone needs like something for like a video or something they're doing, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I can be a third body or a fourth body on that. Other than that, I don't play Warzone, but I don't mind watching him play or him observing and whatnot to do that weekly challenge he does, which I think is a great idea. If fucking Tim the Tatman, because Tim the Tatman's kind of the one who started the idea, but Sally's the dog is the one who gave it form and structure. If Tim the Tatman had done that shit, he'd have been a lot huger than he is now. But you know, it is what it is. Sometimes the idea that you spawn will, you know what I'm saying, you won't be able to benefit from. But anyway, so there's that. Like I said, I don't fuck with Warzone like that. But I like watching Sally the dog fucking play it and talk about that shit. So it is what it is.
Because it's cheap and free. Yeah, but then you'll never have comp, you fucking idiot. Or how dumb can you be?
But if everybody's running to fucking FIGHTCADE, then all the comp is there. Then I'm sure in his head he thought this shit sounds good. I'm sure he does.
I don't know.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. Thank you. Just thank you. Really, thank you.
I swear to God, there's no one in FGC that speaks like reason to these people. Like they just listen to their own circle jerking. Everything is fucking unicorns and rainbows community, and they don't listen to reason.
Some people can say the same thing about your own streams, and look at where you're at.
Like, and the other sad part about FIGHTCADE, it's not safe.
For who? I don't hear Justin crying. I don't hear Taquito crying. You know what I'm saying? I don't hear fucking Alex Valle crying. You know what I mean? How is it that everybody else can play that shit and they cool, and he's the only one crying about it safe?
FIGHTCADE is not safe. Literally right now, anyone you play on FIGHTCADE, you could use an IP sniffer, get their IP address, and fuck with them.
Yeah, but they're not pieces of shit, though. Like, you see that? Like, that's the difference. Like, you went sat there and ran your mouth and did all this silly ass shit, and you're suffering the consequences from it. Everybody else is fine. They knew how to treat people. They understood what the situation was. They weren't ass clowns in their late 20s running around treating this shit like this was WWE and shit until someone came around and actually fucked with them and found out. That was the difference. And he crying now, all these years later, that he can't get people to like rally behind him or support him and shit over shit he had done a bunch of years ago. Just because people aren't actively beefing with you, don't mean they want to tolerate you. It doesn't mean that they really want to deal with you. And he's never seemed to understand that. Oh, well, you didn't like me back in the day, but you're not talking shit about me now, so we're cool right now. That's not how that works. Some beef is eternal. Some. And that's something he's never learned. He thinks he can just talk shit in the moment and just get away with it.
I'm not saying that's going to happen for the vast majority of the FGC. I'm just saying that's a problem. You would think that in all these years that FIGHTCADE's been out, they would have fixed that problem.
No, it's not a problem because it's not an actual problem. It's an issue that you have, not so much for everybody else. If that was the case, people would be getting doxxed left and right.
But obviously they don't care, or it would have been fixed already.
Because it's not an issue. You're the problem. If everybody around you is not having the issue and you're having the issue, you're the problem, right, Phil? That's what you told somebody on your stream once. That logic can be used right against you too.
I can't play FIGHTCADE because I can't have my IP sniffed out by a bunch of fucking...
Oh, I'm sorry that the stupid monkey can't sit there and play FIGHTCADE. That's unfortunate. Move on. No one cares.
Stalkerish losers, you know? So...
those stalkerish losers aren't in the FGC. So they literally can't help them. They're not... the problem isn't within the FGC. You're bringing the problem with you. You're the problem. You're the issue. And you don't see it. Or you don't want to see it. That's hilarious. He wants them to fix the problem for him. That's crazy.
It's just really dumb. I would love to play a collection that has full features, crossplay, all the things you want from a game that's going to have longevity, like the effort they put into Street Fighter 6. Imagine if they put out a collection that was the Big Four. Imagine that. They actually called it the...
Look at this shit. Now he wants them to do customized collections so he can try to relive his fighting game days. How fucking retarded this shit sounds? And then, keep in mind, he's not thinking about it because he's stupid. But all outside of Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Super Turbo has multiple versions. Third Strike has a couple of different, they have some tweak versions, I should say. But they have at least a couple different versions. And then Third Strike, CVS 2. What's the last one? Oh, and Super Turbo has multiple versions of it. So what are they going to do? Are they going to turn this into fucking Ultra Street Fighter 4 where you could pick whatever character from whatever version of the game? They're not going to do all that shit. It's not worth the trouble. And it's way, way, way too tedious trying to do something like that. If his dumbass actually went over there and listened to Max and his stories and some of the insight that he has in the development of some of these games, he would see how what he's saying is just fundamentally stupid. It's just not going to work like that. And FIGHTCADE is not the problem. It's literally not. He makes it sound like get rid of FIGHTCADE and then the demand will go up, and it won't. because there's still no incentive for Capcom to put in all of that, like that time and effort for games that are 20 something plus years old. It's just not a thing.
Capcom's Big Four collection, MVC2.
And then no one's going to get the reference to that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, only FGC heads are going to get the reference to that. So how do you take that and make that mainstream? But remember, everybody in the FGC is stupid. So he wants a collection to be made and marketed to the FGC. But the FGC is stupid. So how are they going to be able to convey that to a newer generation who doesn't know shit about that? He's literally strangling himself. Fantastic. I love when he does this shit. I love when he hog ties himself like this. And he don't see it because in his own head, he thinks it sounds smart. He thinks that it's an actual solution instead of him just bitching. When the reality is, he's just bitching.
CVS2, Super Turbo, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, all have crossplay, features, sweet customizable colors, unique ranking system.
That's way too much trouble. That's way too much trouble. When he said the customizable colors, by the way, that went back to what I was saying about the Marvel mixes. That's when he was saying that everybody was pirating shit. So I was right on where I thought he was going with that shit. Anyway, that's way too much trouble. Doing that for one game, a standalone game in itself, is a lot. Now you want to have 4 games that can do all of that? Yeah, get the fuck up out of here.
Punishment for people who rage quit, all the things you want. And they sell it for like 60, 70 bucks.
No one's paying $70 for that. You're fucking retarded. First off, something like that shouldn't be anything more than like 50 bucks. Paying 60 or 70, you're retarded. And isn't this the same guy who bitched and complained about the fucking game for the game price hike up? But he wants to have games that are damn near 20 years old to be $60, $70. I might be willing to stand with him on the 60 part, but not 70. No way. No way.
But because they support it, those games get vibrant communities again. And now you go to tournaments and
no, because the retro games isn't for everybody. So no, he's literally a mongoloid. He really thinks that if you buy a game that, or everybody who, let's say everybody buys this one particular game, right? Like everybody who buys Kirby, they just love Kirby and whatnot. If you're a first time person who's buying a Kirby game or a fucking Mario game, you're just gonna love it off rip, and that's just not a thing. You know what I'm saying? I got fucking cousins that, you know, play Mario a handful of times. They thought they were gonna like it, but they didn't. So either they returned it or they held on to it and whatnot, and they go back to it every once in a while. But they didn't take to it like everybody else did. What are you talking about? People are people.
play the.
That's literally what he's saying. Is literally the definition of what do they call that? Hive mind or fucking like groupthink. That's really what that is. He thinks it's groupthink, and that's another reason why he never got along with people in the FGC, because he honestly thought, oh well, if we only play Capcom games, then we need to rally together, and that was never a thing. You had a lot of guys who played Capcom games who played other games too. You know what I'm saying? Just because you play Street Fighter doesn't mean you can't play Tekken, you can't play Virtual Fighter, you can't play Guilty Gear, you can't play Melty Blood. You know what I'm saying? And onward and onward. He never saw that. He couldn't understand that. Even though his dumbass is a variety streamer. Even though his dumbass says that he has all of this experience playing all these different fighting games. But why is he always single-minded on just Capcom games, though? And don't be wrong, I'm not saying that he can't have his preference, right? But then don't sit there and try to treat people like they stupid, because they want more than just one. Don't treat people stupid because they want to have more than one genre or one publisher of a particular genre. Let's say that.
Best versions of these games. You know what I'm saying? No. Let's run back to FIGHTCADE. All right, so go play these old games with the same 7 people you play against in the entire fucking world, and don't complain that they're dead.
But they're not. There's only mongoloids like you to do that shit. And keep in mind, the things that they want for those guys that are deep into the FGC, a lot of those things that they would want, they could customize it all on PC to whatever their exact specifications are. The reason why you have custom costumes or custom mods for certain costumes for like Street Fighter 5 and Street Fighter 6 is because of the fact that you had people who modded those files in their own time. Capcom didn't do that shit. They adopted it later, but you know what I'm saying, and whatnot. But some of them, they had to pay for the rights to that shit. You know what I mean? Like there's whatever. We'll get into that later, but or another time. But they had to pay for that shit. You know what I mean? It is what it was. The mod scene has always pushed the customizable scene for the gaming industry in particular. You know, that goes back to Bethesda theoretically, but it even goes back further than that. You know what I'm saying? So
don't complain that when a collection comes out, it dies within 3 months. Because the reason you run back to FIGHTCADE and you pirate the game, that's what happens.
Oh boy.
If you want to have something be successful, you have to support it, not pirate it.
Are you going to make this about yourself now? Because that's what it sounds like.
And by the way, a lot of people in chat screaming about VPNs. You obviously have no idea what you're talking about. VPNs change your IP address. You're right. They also add input delay.
I mean, it's an alternative, though. It's better than saying that you can't play it because you don't feel safe. So take the good with the bad. If you're already in, according to him, he's already fighting lag on console anyway. So what's the problem? Makes you think.
There's literally not a VPN on the planet that is input free. So if you're trying to play a fighting game competitively and you need to use a VPN to do it.
And yet people play fucking Call of Duty on VPN. I do. I've played Call of Duty on VPNs before and shit. I mean, it is what it is. You adjust.
You're creating lag. You're making it shitty.
Then again, to be honest with you, I was doing it to fucking get rid of skill-based matchmaking because that 2-boxing, 3-boxing shit, I'm not doing that. Fuck all that. I'm not gonna fucking turn on fucking a PC and then both of my consoles and do all that. I'm not doing all that. I'm not doing all that shit. Fuck all that. I'll VPN that shit and go from there.
You cannot use a VPN to play FIGHTCADE. And by the way, for the record, that doesn't stop people from DDoSing you. They can still get your IP.
So now you want to go ahead and push the goalpost back. So first he didn't want to get his IP sniffed out. Now he's worried about DDoSing. He didn't lead with that though. So he literally sat on it waiting to use it as an excuse. Imagine that.
DDoS you, now you got to use a different VPN. Then they DDoS the next IP. Then you change to a different VPN to another IP. Then
there's very few people that are willing to do that. And keep in mind, Phil, there are ways that you can automatically do that shit. It's not like one person needs to fucking do that shit. You know what I'm saying? And then you can, whatever. I'm not helping your dumb ass out. Fuck you. If you want to go ahead and put yourself through mental gymnastics, go ahead. Hopefully you fucking shoot for bronze or some shit.
DDoS that IP. It doesn't solve the problem. All it is they don't get your fixed IP, so they can't just DDoS you when you're not playing, but they can still DDoS you when you're playing. Literally what you're saying makes no sense.
Oh boy. If that was the case, Wings would get DDoSed all the time, and he don't. He does get DDoSed though, but he just doesn't get DDoSed all the time. How are you greasy already? Damn.
All right. Anyway, so that's that. And yes, it is disappointing. I wish that these collections had more players. I wish that more effort was put into them. But I feel like as long as FIGHTCADE exists and the piracy continues, they realize.
And also let's think about this too. Let's say FIGHTCADE didn't exist. Either A, like I said, those same guys are going to stop playing, or B, the pool is going to be so fucking crowded that he's going to be fucked. Because if there's not enough scrubs to go around, then he has to go up against killers, which means he's just going to keep losing. So then he is going to accuse them of being cheaters, unless he knows that they're OG players. Or he's going to sit there and run into one of these young guys coming in who's really, really good. He's going to talk that shit, calling them cheaters and lag abusers and all this silly shit. Then that shit blows up on fucking Twitter and fucking Reddit, and then he has to fix his fucking face. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if everybody was literally forced to congregate on console, there's not going to be nearly as many scrubs to go around the way he thinks it is. But he's stupid, so he don't know.
When I say they, I mean Capcom or whoever's, financing these collections. They realize that these are just ways.
And it doesn't even matter because they sell anyway. Because theoretically, I hate to say it this way, but theoretically, they consider those games dead anyway. So whenever they put out a fucking collection and it sells, even if they have to cut the price on it, which they almost always will, it doesn't matter. They made their money and some. You know what I'm saying? So they're still walking away. Or they're still going to be up, I should say.
For a quick cash.
Especially on a game that's fucking 20 fucking year old games and shit. Come on, bro.
Grab, and they're never going to have longevity because people are always going to run back to what's free. So they're never going to put as much effort into them. At least that's my take. Okay. All right. We have some extra time. Whatever you guys would like to talk about, tag me in the chat. Let's do a little bit of Q&A to end the show today. All right. And please, like I said, let's get some more support. Let's hit $100 of support by the end of the show. That way we only have 50 to go for Metal Gear, and we can hit that goal easily by the end of this stream. Okay? No, girls set. I have not used a 3DS, 2DS this year. I couldn't even tell you the last time I did. 3DS, I don't even know where my 3DS is. It's somewhere in my closet, but we never finished the closet clean out, so we never found it again. Dark Chaos
spent money on not garbage. I'd say the 3DS is garbage, but threw his money on shit. He don't even use it anymore. You know what I'm saying? He just came off talking about longevity of like retro consoles and or games or whatever, and he himself doesn't even practice what he preaches. Imagine that.
If you want the answer, reset to the beginning of the podcast. I already talked about TOKON.
He didn't play it because he got bodied, and he spent his wife's birthday basically watching other people play it. Womp womp.
Is Battlefield the next shooter I'm going to play? Likely yes. Comes out in October, right? So likely yes. Although
I don't even know why. You're not a first person shooter player, nor are you a Battlefield fan. So I don't know why you're doing all that shit.
There is a Call of Duty beta, and I'll probably be playing the Call of Duty beta when that's available as well. What did you say over here? Hold on. I don't know what War Thunder is, real life loser. So I don't know if I'll play it or not. I don't know what the hell it is.
One of the most popular sponsored games on fucking YouTube and on Twitch. Now I think about it. And you don't know what it is. Imagine that.
The Detractors are sad. I literally just explained why I can't play FIGHTCADE. Literally moments ago, I explained it doesn't hide your IP. Anyone can get it. Anyone can DDoS you. Even if you use a VPN, you're creating more lag for yourself, and you can still be DDoSed anyway. I don't understand why you think I could play it. I can't. Is Metal Gear Solid Delta worth it if you never played the original? Sure. Sure it is. What happens if you get DDoSed? I have to contact my ISP. They have to come out here, and we have to swap modems in order to try to get a new IP. The way that my ISP works, they assign an IP address to your modem, and your modem auto-re-seeks that same IP. Okay? I have a new modem in here. Well, not new. It's like 2 years old now. I don't even know how this modem even works with this ISP anymore. My ISP is...
What a useless fucking person. What an absolutely useless fucking person. A component that he needs to run his air quotes business, and he don't even understand how it functions. That's amazing. In this day and age where literally everything is a Google, literally a stroke away in more ways than one for Phil, he still can't figure shit out. Just too lazy to do anything. Fucking A. And then he wonders why he fails at everything.
Fucking weird. Okay? That's all I have to say. Comcast is weird as shit. They don't do things like other ISPs.
How would you know? You haven't had another ISP in what, 15 years or whatever the fuck it's been? Well, no, it's not 15. It's probably closer to 10 years, actually. Sorry, I exaggerated there. But you know what I mean? He hasn't fucking had another ISP in a decade. He probably hasn't shopped for a new ISP provider in a decade. So what the fuck's he know about anything?
They actually would require someone to come out and have two modems hooked up to my wall. So one modem would have the old ISP. One modem would have a new ISP. Then they would...
I don't have Comcast, so I can't verify any of that, but that's not how my internet provider works. If I need a new ISP, I could... A new fucking... if I need a new line and shit, I can literally just call them. They can literally swap it over in like 5 minutes. And then I'm square after that. So I don't know what this is. And when I fucking A, dude, I can literally just jump on... Well, I can go on my phone, really. I can go on my phone through their app and send in a request, and they'll literally do it that way. Fucking A, bro. They literally got to come to your house and set up two modems. Are you sure? Are you sure they're both modems, Phil? Or you don't know? All right, bro.
Reassign my account from the old to the new modem and then unhook the old modem, and that's how we changed my ISP.
Doesn't even... That sounds... If they really do it that way, that sounds bizarre. if that's true, and there's a lot of big ifs on that shit.
Otherwise, excuse me, my IP. Otherwise, I couldn't even get my IP to change. My IP would stay the same no matter what.
That sounds bizarre.
And if you ask Comcast, literally the techs couldn't even tell you why that happens because they don't deal with it. I'm like the rare person they would have to deal with this situation, so they can't even explain it. I don't know, that's just how it is.
Just lying on people just for the sake of doing it. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy work.
No, we're not getting another cat companion for Jasper Kitty because he's a one cat show. He does not want other animals to take up his attention. He feels he's the master of the domain.
How many fucking dead animals did he tell PPP he had to bury? I'm exaggerating. I don't think he told him they had to bury any, but you know what I mean?
And this is his house and his kingdom, and he does not want other animals to be taking up our time and attention.
But he's barely around you. And if what you say is true, a cat's barely home, then he spends the majority of time by himself. Whatever. DSP is that type of idiot who probably thinks, oh, animals can't get depressed. They're not humans.
Excuse me. What is the backstory of Dick Lightning? In my original playthrough of Dark Souls 2, before they patched the game, lightning magic was insanely overpowered. So I started using lightning magic with my character, and the next thing you know, I was like whooping the game's ass. Previously, I was getting my ass beat, and all of a sudden, as soon as I started using lightning spells, I started dominating to the point where then I just got the more powerful lightning spell, and I changed my whole build, and my character literally just run around throwing lightning bolts at everything, almost insta-killing everything in the game. I was like one-shotting every boss. It was insane.
What's fun about that? And see, that's his problem with with those type of games and shit. He was purposely looking for the most OP shit possible, and then got mad that people thought it wasn't entertaining to watch. Imagine that. Or he was incredibly over leveled.
It was just crazy.
I remember Tevin, praise me. I remember Almighty Tevin had brought that up way back in the day, and he actually did a video actually talking about it, and he broke it all down and shit. I honestly think DSP may have actually watched it. Now I think about it.
Crazy powerful. So I mean, so my character is Dick Lightning, and I started singing the song "Grease Lightning" from the movie or musical Grease. You know, go Grease Lightning, tearing down the freeway now. Grease Lightning, go Grease Lightning. So I started singing, "Go Dick Lightning, you're tearing up the evil now. Dick Lightning, throw Dick Lightning." And it was funny. People liked it back then. Today, you probably all make fun of me and say that it's cringe. But back then, people actually liked it and thought that it was a funny meme. And people would reference it and go back and watch the playthrough over and over.
He thought that they were stupid. Wow, look at the way he looks at the camera and shit. Like, he's looking down the barrel and shit. That's creepy. Yikes, Phil. Maybe
So there you go. That's Dick Lightning. Thank you, Lance Catamaran.
Yikes.
Lance did gift another sub. If Borderlands 4 is good, will I play it? I'm not going to play Borderlands 4 right now at all. I hated Borderlands 3.
That show's a fucking dud, man. There's so many problems with Borderlands 4, bro. Holy shit. There's so many goddamn problems with that game. That's crazy. Now I think about it, too, I haven't seen Morning After Kill in a minute. Not since he revealed that new, I want to say it was a Corvette. Could have been a Camaro, though. But since he started going on to the car show circuit, I haven't even seen that dude post anything as of late. He hasn't even talked about that. I don't know. That movie wasn't very good either, so womp womp on that too. Fucking A.
I legit thought it was insanely boring and too repetitive and just not original at all. And you guys thought the same. So this time around, I'm not going to play the game at launch. I'm going to wait. Let's see what happens. Let's see if people like it. Let's see what reviewers say. If it ends up being a hit and you guys...
That's funny because back in the day, he wouldn't wait on reviewers. He would, or people like, like people who got advanced copies or whatever, because he felt that they were dishonest or they were just playing through the game so they could get the review out. Now he's completely and utterly dependent on them. Imagine that.
Want to see it, then when we get time in the schedule, I would consider it. But right now, my focus is the games I'm playing. I want to beat Metal Gear Solid Delta, Chronos The New Dawn, Suikoden 2 HD, Gears of War Reloaded campaign and a little multiplayer, and Hollow Knight Silksong. I want to play these games over the course of this month, the next 2 to 3 weeks.
He dragged all those games out, if I remember correctly. I don't even know which one out of all those games were the last one he finished. Maybe it was Silk Song, maybe, but he dragged that shit out. It should have never been played as long as it did. That's just ridiculous. But he sandbagged that game in particular. He may have done it to the other ones as well, but he sandbagged Silk Song on purpose. That was blatantly obvious that he sandbagged that shit on purpose.
And try to get through most of them by the time that the new games release. The new games are releasing around the 25th.
There you go. He's even admitting that he's sandbagging shit. All right, there we go.
And it includes Silent Hill F, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, and Final Fantasy Tactics Ivalice Chronicles, okay? I need to have an open schedule when those games come out to play them. If I have 3-4 lingering games, then I'll never finish anything. So I have to. So I'm not taking on any more games right now. We're going to play what I'm playing, all right, and go from there. I'm not opposed to playing Borderlands if it ends up being good, but I'm so skeptical because Borderlands 3 stunk in my opinion. So let's see what happens. What's hilarious is that people, like, right now disagree. Like, one person's like, oh, Borderlands is slop. And then another person says, no, Borderlands isn't slop. What are you talking about? So everyone has a different opinion about Borderlands, apparently. Mine's mixed. Like, when I played Borderlands 1, I thought that the game was good, but it was designed for co-op. It was a very big, grindy slog playing it solo that ended up being very annoying. When I played Borderlands 2, I played it co-op, and I enjoyed it a lot, but it definitely seemed a little on the easy side in co-op. Then I played Borderlands 3 solo, and it didn't seem hard anymore. Like, it seemed like it was designed you could play it solo, but it was insanely boring. So it's like...
Oh, no. It's almost like having friends is a good thing, Phil. Oh, man. It's almost like having friends is a good thing.
Too difficult solo, too easy co-op, boring. I haven't had, like, a amazing...
It's funny how he doesn't actually see the problem. Great screenshot. It's funny how he doesn't actually see the problem. That's hilarious to me.
Experience with Borderlands yet. I'm still waiting. And yeah, everyone hates Randy Pitchford, the guy in charge of Borderlands. That's true. Everyone hates him.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit. Holy shit, Randy's a piece of garbage. And that barely legal porn, allegedly, that he was sitting on or whatever. I mean, it's not even alleged. He admitted that it was. He just said that it was. The girls were of age, even though some people surmise otherwise and shit. Whatever. That's a whole nother story in another day. Holy shit. But yeah, Randy's a massive piece of shit. Massive piece of shit. Holy fuck. Like, there are stories out there on him that you can find where people who have met him, they're like, yeah, he's a fucking douchebag.
It's his guts. So by the way, lighting today, I didn't mention this at all. Lighting today brought to you by the actual app of the company that made all the lights. As you can see, the lighting's been great, has it not?
Wasn't this dumbass actually paying a service for lights? Like, who does that? I didn't even know there was a service out there you could pay to do that. And even if there was, or even if there is, why would you do that? That's insane. Only DSP would literally fall for the marketing scheme. That's fucking crazy, bro. Paying us a fee so you can run your fucking RGB lights and shit in a certain type of way. That's crazy, bro.
Stayed on consistently. It looks nice.
That's so crazy.
And it's supposed to be simulating like being in a forest with, midday forest.
That's what your dumbass was paying for, if that's what the case is. That's fucking crazy, son.
With sun, and I figured, hey, this matches kind of the theme of Metal Gear Solid Delta, right? Where you're in the jungle for the most part. So I thought it looked pretty nice.
There's a difference between a forest and a jungle, right? Never mind. You barely leave your house, so what would you know about anything? It's not like you've actually gone out and seen the world in any way. So I got you.
Nice. And my whole office looks like this right now. All the lights are this lighting style. So I hope that you found it enjoyable. I will try. It's going to be all new because all these things are different now. It's all different. I have to find new settings, new scenes and things to use for every playthrough. Tomorrow we're doing what? Tomorrow we're doing Suikoden. Tomorrow I'll probably do something that's kind of blue, maybe like a blue lighting scenes for that.
Autistic as shit, bro.
And then later in the week.
Oh man, I'm really hoping that I can get to these Logan K videos and shit. Taking L's. I really want to see if I can get that in the Goutmas, but I might not be able to, so I might have to do all that as standalones for next year, which will be fun because I really want to go over him. He's got like 5 videos. Then he has another video where he's talking to somebody else. They were like, yeah, I think the DSP was like autistic or he has autism or whatever. Yeah, if I can't fit that in the Gout mist, then I mean I should be able to use 25 fucking days of it. But if but if I can't fit it, I'll put it on the docket for 2026. A lot to do, man. A lot to do. Holy shit.
I think we're doing a major chrono stream, so I'll probably go back to red again for that. I'll have to do these different scenes and see how they look.
Alrighty. So there you go on that. Yeah. Like I said, I'm just gonna go with the fact that he's just out of fucking touch. As he is. Excuse me, to be honest, he's just out of touch. It is what it is. The way he flip-flopped, this right here is fitting. So we'll go with that. Pick ups to Chio and whatnot. Big ups to Chio 18 on that. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So final thoughts, and I'll let y'all go. To make a long story incredibly short, he didn't play TOKON, Marvel TOKON, because he was going to get cleaned up, and he was hoping to watch other people play it, see if he could find a character with easy shit, so when the next beta comes around, he could slide right in. That's pretty much what that was. He said he was supposed to be spending time with his wife, and it looks like he spent the majority of his day, as one would expect, just watching people on Twitter, X, YouTube, and on Twitch. I'm not surprised by any of that. As it pertains to retro games and how retro games are treated or whatnot, if it wasn't for FIGHTCADE, most of those games would have eventually died out outside of the tournament scene. And as the tournament scene constantly evolves, and as the push to move tournaments like EVO and other tournaments too, majors, let's say that, and other majors to a PC format where they play them on PC, I should say. Is that going to kill off consoles? No, but you know what I'm saying? Like, Arturo has started a movement where that's where people want to go with it. That people hey, people are starting to realize, because Arturo's been preaching this for years, hey, we need to go to PC. You know what I'm saying? We need to do it if we want the smoothest, most consistent way possible. I personally think that, you got all these different customizable sticks and hitboxes, and you know what I'm saying, they got to be plugged in certain ways. They're going to end up fucking up the USBs with that shit unless they have an extension that is durable. But even then, like, look at what happened last year with the PS5 problem, where those USB ports were getting killed on those consoles. And that's why they had to keep like shuffling them in, because fucking some of these guys, man, they're fucking savages and shit. They treat the tournament equipment like they treat their shit at home. So it is what it was on that. But if it wasn't for FIGHTCADE, most of the way the tournament scene is changing, it would have been a deficit, far more of a deficit than a benefit. But DSP's stupid, so of course he don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But that's just my opinion, though. Let me know what you guys think. That's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, I gotta go ahead and get started on the next one and whatnot, because I got a lot to work myself through. So let me go ahead and get to that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. I very much appreciate it. I'll catch you guys for the next one of these, whenever that may be. Hopefully sooner than later. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Snort Report. This has been DSP News. Always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh, yes, a GTG Network and Productions. For the Snort Report, for SnortBucks Coffee Company, for Hard Snorts Gin and Tonic, and for Tim Snortons and all our other affiliates and subsidiaries, I've been your host / anchor GTG, and I'm signing off. Take care of yourselves, people. Like I said, you guys probably won't see this till like 2026. So happy early new year to all of you and whatnot. And I'll see you then. Well, when I get there. You're already there, but when I get there, I'll see you then. Take care of yourselves, people. Later.
Jealous of the smell of the shellfish. Don't tell me I need a haircut. You can't walk a mile in my shoes cause I'm barefoot. Bob's taking the toke, God's making the joke. With a Mickey Mantle rookie card close pinned in my spoke. I'm partying with the dead like Dia de los Muertos. People look at me funny cause I'm a scarecrow, but I don't care, bro, I'm snacking on apricots. I need my space like an astronaut. I'm in the sun chasing rum with the juice of a plum.